All right, welcome to another episode. Damn, I almost had it. All right, welcome to another episode of What Did I Miss with Dennis Styles. On this podcast, I'll just be talking about everything I don't cover on my main YouTube channel at DS2 Smooth, from movies and game reviews to movie and gaming news to anime, comic books, and honestly anything else I feel like yapping about. Bro, I hold on. I cut the part. I know I'm gonna cut the part where I messed up, but that was only the second try. We're really, and I kind of stumbled at the start of the intro, but we're really getting through it, my boy. And I don't know, it just always feels good, uh, getting the intro right. But anyways, this week is a nice little mix up. We have a lot of gaming news with, unfortunately, Insomniac Gaming Studios, the creators of Spider-Man 2. They got hacked and a bunch of employee info got out, but which is sad. Don't get me wrong, but there were leaks for some exciting future Spider-Man games, plus some like looks at the Wolverine game, which I'm pretty excited to talk about. But I don't want people getting their let me just say, people getting their information exposed and hacked and shit. That's wrong. But hey, this some news came from it. I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna get into it. There's a lot of more A24 news than usual. If you don't know what A24 is, it's like a production company, like movie production company. They produce a lot of good movies. I'm not. Hold on. So why are A24 movies like usually like so good? Like I mean, not like not every single one's gonna hit for for you or whatever. But generally, they're pretty good, and they usually have like a distinct like style to them. Is it like, I don't know? I'm just trying to like wrap my head around why that is. It's like, do they have like a set directors, or I'm confused. But anyways, I like them a lot. So I'm excited to talk about them, and they also have. So what? The biggest thing out of the A24 news is they're making a live action Death Stranding adaptation with Hideo Kojima. The Death Stranding games are like a PS5 exclusive. The gameplay itself could be, it's not for everyone. Like especially like the gameplay like loop or whatever. It's really, from what I've seen, it's like pretty tedious. I've always wanted to play it, but it's just like I just really don't think this game is gonna be in my bag, and I just didn't want to like spend hella money on it. But I think it's free on PlayStation, so I'll look into it. But like the story though is really interesting. I've always been interested in it. I guess not interested enough to like go find out the story on YouTube, but maybe I did at one point. I just forgot. But it's very like aesthetically like interesting, visually interesting, and like a studio like A24 will handle that great. But I low-key was like getting into that. We'll get into that later, and maybe not, because I low-key said a lot about that. And the main topic for this week is taking a look at the best and worst superhero video games. What's funny is I thought Rebel Moon was coming out this week, but it came out Friday in the UK, and I thought it was saying, and I didn't see that. I thought it was coming out this week. So next week we'll be talking about Rebel Moon, which I'm pretty excited about. There will be time codes below, so feel free to jump around to whatever part you want to. I was kind of yapping about A24 for a minute, but what did I miss last week? I was talking about Boyd Holbrook because I was talking about Narcos, in which he's in, and I said like his name's like something Kennerman, but I think that's the guy in Suicide Squad that plays Rick Flag. Is that his name? But yeah, Boyd Holbrook, he's in Narcos, which I said. He's in Logan, and he's in Sandman. Sandman's like a DC. It didn't start out. I don't think it started out as a DC thing. Maybe I could be wrong about that. Getting confused. Either like it didn't start out as a DC thing, then DC like bought it, then it was a DC thing. I'm saying DC thing a lot, but then or it was like a DC thing and then it was its own thing. But anyways, it's a show on Netflix and it's really good. I liked it a lot. But he's in there and he plays like this like villain character. And he really kills it in that. And which is funny about that is when I was watching Narcos and him in Narcos, I really don't buy him in the military like cop role, because that's what he plays in. He plays like a FBI agent or some shit, CIA, or just whatever. But I don't know. He doesn't really fit that like cop role. But then he's like more of this suave type. Like he's still a villain in Sandman, but he's like more of this like suave, like clean cut type of character, and he plays that way better in my opinion. I really liked him in Sandman. And then also last week I was talking about GTA 6 and I was talking about Red Dead 2. And I said that I didn't mind if like the slower pace of Red Dead 2 is in GTA 6. And I feel like let me clear that up because I do actually have a problem with GTA's or Red Dead Redemption 2's pace. What I meant by like the slower pace, I meant like the more meticulous stuff, like searching through. Well, I think I. Oh wait, I was. I've been getting mixed up like what I say on what. Not like in a bad way, but I was talking about this when I was playing Cyberpunk. I'm a loot fiend. I like to loot shit in games, like in RPGs. Like I'm a fucking loot everything around. But like, so in GTA 6, like you'll be going through cabinets and shit, and you'll be looking under chimneys, like fire chimneys and shit, behind pictures under beds and shit for like different items. And so most of the stuff you're just getting like a couple dollars here and there. But then, like with looking and shit, you like find like stash spots and like I said, like looking in like the chimney and shit, like when you rob a house or some shit like that, there could be like a stash box somewhere. So like it's rewarding to like look around, and that like slower pace is what I like. And like cleaning your gun, like cleaning your horse and shit, like that is like cool. Like because when you like I don't think I mentioned this, but if your guns get dirty, they start like shooting weird and shit, and that's the slower pace I like. But during the story, there would be multiple times where I would literally turn, and this is like second, third playthrough type shit. Now I'll get into it, but there would be multiple times where I'll literally turn Red Dead 2 off because they're just sitting there fucking riding their horse talking for 10 minutes plus. Like, bro, I just want to shoot somebody, bro. Like, what do you, like, why can I skip none of this and shit? And you're like literally just on a boat fucking rowing and talking or riding your horse fucking talking or whatever. And it's like, brother, sometimes you can skip it, like when it's like some optional shit, but most of the time you're just like locked in. It's like I turn it off and then I like drop the game for a couple days, come back, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, I'm still in the middle of this slow ass talking section. So shit like that, I don't want to see in GTA 6 because that shit was annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Like on your first playthrough, it's fine because like the dialogue's new, you're getting to know the characters, you're interested in what they got to say. But on your second or third playthrough, like nigga, I do not want to sit there and listen to that again. But yeah, that's what I just wanted to clear up from last week. Because I just, what did I miss? Like talking about. Anyways, let's just get right into the news. So usually I start with like some movie news and shit, but there's a lot of gaming news. So like I said, we're gonna start with the gaming shit. Anyways, E3 is dead. If you don't know what E3 is, it's like this big gaming showcase. Like a lot of new games get shown there, new gaming trailers, extended like gameplay looks and shit like that. It's like this was a big event that all the big studios like Sony, Microsoft and shit, Nintendo. I think Nintendo's had their own shit for a while, so I don't know about Nintendo, but all the big companies and shit would go to E3. But what started happening was like you got to pay to be there, basically. You got to pay to have booths. You got to pay to, showcase your shit or whatever. And so a lot of companies started to have, like, got big enough and shit and, like, realized they could have their own shit. So, like, PlayStation started doing their own thing. Microsoft started doing their own thing. And their shows, I can't really speak on the numbers, but I feel like they do pretty well. Like, they get a good amount of buzz when their showcases or whatever come around, whether, like, a lot of people are like be disappointed by them, but like you got Spider-Man like being revealed, Wolverine and whatnot. So and like that type of stuff would have been revealed at E3, but Sony's like doing their own thing, like I just said, and so that killed E3 basically, which is a shame because it there's like growing up and shit, like, oh shit, E3, what's gonna be revealed? And like, I guess you still get that. It's just a lot more separated now. Like everyone's doing that kind of their own thing. So, I mean, as a consumer, it doesn't really matter because like you're still gonna get the trailers like either way. Like the Game Awards was a big criticism there. I think that a lot of trailers are being shown there, but doesn't the Game Awards like don't they have like Summer's Game Fest or some shit? I'm not exactly sure what that is. Or like what they specifically do. Like regardless, I'm gonna see these trailers anyway, so it's like I'm not like into these big events or whatever. But yeah, so rip E3. But let's get into these Sony leaks, brother. Again, hacking and shit and exposing people's personal info, always bad. Do not condone that shit. But I hope the people involved weren't affected too much. But in the leaks, it was seen that Spider-Man 3 is in the works at Insomniac. That's no surprise to anyone, really. Come on, like they were gonna make another game. But what's actually interesting is like there's another Spider-Man game which I get into that was also found in the leaks, but there's not gonna be a Miles Morales game. A lot of some people were like saying, not a lot, but some people on Twitter were saying like, there might be a another Miles Morales game before, we get Spider-Man 3, which I would have liked, honestly, because now I feel like with what happened in the story, I feel like if they were to go to another Miles Morales game, it would need to be bigger than the last one was. Now, I don't think it needs to be a full, like the size of the first Spider-Man game or Spider-Man 2, but I feel like it definitely needs to be bigger. If they were to go that route, it doesn't seem like they are, but I would have liked them to do that because then you get more, because that was honestly one of my main complaints was that Miles Morales, I feel like Miles wasn't super, like he played a part in the story for sure, but I feel like he wasn't super involved in a lot of the things that's going on. And obviously the story's about Peter, but there's two Spider-Man now. I feel like you got to really like highlight them regardless. You can still make it about Peter while Miles, and Miles did play a honestly big part in the story, but it's just for like what am I trying to say? He played a part in the overall. He wasn't felt in the not even the smaller scale, just like mission to mission shit. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like his presence wasn't really super felt always in the story. Whereas, in moments where it's like, okay, what is Miles doing, or like Miles should be here or whatever. I don't know. I definitely got to play it again, and I would have replayed this game because honestly, when I finished, I wanted to instantly go back. But I'm just waiting for New Game Plus, which I'll get into because that is coming. But it's just like, yeah. But in a Spider-Man 3, what could that be about? That could just be Peter. We got the G serum or the Goblin serum in play now. Is that going to be given to Harry, or is it going to be given to Norman? Is it going to be the big goblin? Is it going to be, the maniacal cackling one? So what's up with that? So that we definitely got that. There's hints of some superior Spider-Man stuff. Not like some super official hints, but some speculation, I would say. And you got the like chameleon and shit. So there is shit to be handled. So it's just all of what's going to bring, Peter back into the fold type shit. But then also what is actually really, really, I feel like has insane potential. There is potentially there is a Spider-Verse game in the works. And so Spider-Man 2 had a little a quest tease. Or let me say this. I don't want any Spider-Verse shit in like the mainline Spider-Man Insomniac games. Keep that shit. It's already getting hectic, brother. You got so that's kind of a spoiler. You got another Spider-Man character introduced at the end of Spider-Man 2. And then it's a lot, and I feel like they're already having trouble balancing shit. Like, can't even balance Venom properly. Like, come on. So yeah, keep all that Spider-Verse stuff out. So if there's a separate Spider-Verse game, great. But then also speculation that this Spider-Verse game is going to be multiplayer. That is some big shit, because I didn't know this, but apparently it's been rumored for a while, or not even rumored, just so apparently Insomniac's been working on a multiplayer game, or had plans to work on a multiplayer game. No one knew what that was. And so this kind of like lines up to that, and people were saying like maybe it's fucking create your own spider character, which would be fucking lit. If you create your own spider character and you're just thrust into some multiverse shit, I'm on board for it. But even if it's like just some team up shit, like, there's some good fucking multiversal Spider-Man games. Fucking Shattered Dimensions, you play as Noir, 2099, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Classic Spider-Man. Like, that was fucking lit. And then you got Edge of Time, where you're playing with 2099 and like OG Peter Parker. That was really fun. I'm not like against. I see some people like against the Spider-Verse game, but I'm not against the Spider-Verse game at all. It's just, I would just prefer them keeping out of the Insomniac thing, or keep it as like, even if it like it could be some shit where Miles and Peter or one of the two could just be sucked into some shenanigans and just like after transported back to the universe. I guess I would be fine with that. Just I don't want any of that Spider-Verse shit in the story, the main story type shit. It could be some good side shit, Like, oh shit, Pete, remember we went into some multiversal fucking battle or some shit? Like, yeah. So just keep it out of the main shit. But if it is, I mean, it's whatever, I guess. It's their shit. They can do whatever they want. But what? Oh man, this shit right here. Because I feel like, all right, with the Blade announcement, this Blade and Wolverine, which I'm about to talk about, are like my two anticipated games. Like, and it seems they're going the mature route for both of them. Who makes Arcane? Yeah. Arcane Studios. They make I was talking about this last week. They make like Dishonored and shit, and their games are pretty gory. You could chop fucking people's heads off and shit, whatnot. So I'm pretty sure the Blades game is gonna be gory. Which, I mean, it doesn't have to be. You're fighting vampires and shit. You can just have them crumpled to death. But hey, I'm not complaining about chopping limbs off or shit. But anyways, there were some leaked screenshots of Wolverine, and I don't know if this. So people are saying for a 2024 release date. And I just can't remember if I've seen anything with that, because it was some speculation the end of 2024, and then or maybe early 2025. And so I don't know. I just didn't really see any confirmation on that. I could have just missed it. But a lot of people seem to be saying 2024, which is with the screenshots. I can see that because it looks so. All right. One of my favorite games growing up, and honestly, I gotta revisit it, but it probably would be still now because I don't know if I feel like that game won't hold up, but it's X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is more of a hack and slash. That's like a more God of War type. A lot of enemies around. You're just flurry of attacks and shit, like really getting busy. Really makes you feel like Wolverine cutting through hella enemies and shit. Which I think seeing a Wolverine game like that again right now would be great, honestly, because it's a switch up from like, over the shoulder third person shit, cinematic shit that we'd be getting with like, God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, all that shit. I think it would be a nice switch up, but personally, I wanted again. I know I wouldn't say I want one over the other, but we got the hack and slash shit. So I feel like a nice cinematic linear Wolverine story, third person, in which the screenshots it was like over the shoulder third person shit, like akin to like God of War Ragnarok and the God of War series, the new ones. Which I'm on board with completely. Like I said, more linear, tighter story, and like I can imagine it now. Just the execution and the finishes you could do and the animations, like fucking God of War's, like executions and shit are lit, and they sometimes get a little repetitive and shit because there's not a whole lot of them. But I just see that for Wolverine and just really going to town. I feel like that over the shoulder really works. And the screenshot was like he was just in like a town or some shit, and it was sort of like a little HUD, like I think like some health and shit and some like a map maybe. I don't remember, but regardless, I mean that stuff could be changed at any moment, really, any moment. But then I think I saw another screenshot was like also he was in his brown and yellow costume. So, and I fully 100%. We're getting different costumes and shit, so that's pretty cool. I'm just super excited about that, the Wolverine game, to be honest. Let's see. I think that's like really the end of the leaks. But so Spider-Man, I was talking about New Game Plus. I would have been played it if Spider-Man 2 had New Game Plus. Which, all right. So, anyways, a new update for Spider-Man 2 is coming in early 2024 that would include New Game Plus, mission replay, ability to swap tendril colors, and ability to change time of day. All that is cool and standard shit. I'm great they're finally doing it. But what I've been seeing though on Twitter is like people giving a pass for this. I know that New Game Plus wasn't in Spider-Man the first one on release, but then it released like a month or so later. And then Miles Morales did have New Game Plus on release, and this is just standard shit. Any single player game that like is that with New Game Plus works with, like there's some I feel like games that don't work with New Game Plus necessarily, but I've also seen like them like rework it into fit that game. I can't really give an example, it's my fault, but anyways, that is standard shit that should be with any single player game, bro. like that comes day one. Like all the Arkham games. Oh wait, hold on, time out. I know. Can you play Arkham Knight New Game Plus? I'm pretty sure. I know you can play Asylum New Game Plus. I think. But even on the old fucking Batman games, they came with New Game Plus. If you could play it, I know for sure it's in one of them. But it was on release, and it's like, come on, bro. Like, this is just lazy shit. And I was saying when my Spider-Man review, like, missing shit like this, it just speaks to, like, this game was kind of rushed out. I wouldn't say maybe from a story standpoint, maybe, because I feel like that was always going to go the way it was going to go. I feel like the story's just structured really ass. But from, like, the quality of life things, like, from fucking this mission replay, like, come on, bro. That was in the fucking base game, I'm pretty sure. Ability, maybe I was wrong about that. Ability to swap tendril colors, like, bro, there's this little shit, like, when you have all your spider arm abilities equipped and you don't have no symbiote shit, you'll still, when you parry, you either use your spider arms or you use the symbiote. If you still have your fucking, all your, tendrils, like I said, spider arms equipped, you'll sometimes still use your symbiote, or vice versa. So it's like there's no continuity with that. It's like, what the fuck? And then also, they were saying tendril color. What was the problem with that? I think some suits, some like suits would spit out, like, there was like some bugs where some suits would use regular webs and they're clearly symbiote suits, or some, regular suits would use symbiote webs. And there's just like little stuff like that. And ability to change the time of day. Like, it just all speaks to this shit not being, it's just all being undercooked. Quality of life shit. Like I said, the story I feel like is always going to play out like that. It could be coming from a rush standpoint too, but I feel like that's more set in stone, The next thing though with Sony is they have a new patent. Damn. They have a new patent that would automatically adjust the difficulty of games in real time based on player skill level. This could be very, very crazy, I'm not gonna lie. And like really innovative. So, hold on, give me 1 second. Because I read this, but so I guess this is a system like this was already, I was reading in this article, it says a system similar to this is already used in a few titles, which I don't know which ones. The company likely wants to upgrade the method and secure it. So what I was going to say, also, so I was reading like some Twitter replies and shit, and they said Left 4 Dead 2 had some shit like this, but it wasn't exactly the same. It would just like increase the horde, I guess. I mean, from what I was reading, it sounded similar, but some people were like, oh, it's not exactly the same. Like, if you're just like flowing through the game and killing hella zombies and shit, they'll increase the horde size and send more special zombies in. But this could be super great because just imagine, like, when this is fully fledged, imagine like just a game like God of War type shit. You start off as easy or, regular skill level, and you're just going through and you're getting busy, right? And then like they start to send like harder enemies or new combos or some shit. And this is like when this is fully like adapted and like studios can play with this more. And like they'll send different enemy types or they'll pull out different combos or some shit like that. I don't know. This could be really, really cool in the long run for sure. Because and they're also saying like in the article, because there's sometimes a great imbalance between the modes. Like you'll go from normal and then hard will be fucking insanely hard. And like there's just no like ease, there's no like a curve to that. It's just like a steep jump. So like for more casual shit, I could see this really being beneficial. But just from like a gameplay perspective, I could see like some really cool things being implemented. Like I said, just with different shit like sending new enemy types and whatnot. That would be cool. But anyways, A24, we'll probably be getting back to them. Wait, do I have any more A24 news? I swear there's something else. Oh, yeah, I do have some more A24 news. But A24 is developing, like I said earlier, a Death Stranding live action movie with Hideo Kojima. I'm going to read his post. And this is what he said. A24 was born into this world about 10 years ago. Their presence is singular within the industry. They are like no other. The films they are delivering to the world are high in quality and very innovative. I've been attracted to their creations, and they have been inspired by my own work. Their innovative approach to storytelling aligns with what I'm fucking up with aligns with what Kojima Productions has been doing for the last 8 years. It's because this text there's a lot of text and it's hella small. Let me fucking goddamn, I'm getting old. I had to enlarge the text or zoom in. For the last 8 years. Now we're making a Death Stranding movie together. There are a lot of game adaptation films out there, but what we're creating is not just a direct translation of the game. The intention is that our audience will not only be fans of the games, but our film will be for anyone who loves cinema. We're creating a Death Stranding universe that has never been seen before. Achievable only through film. Achievable only through the medium of film. It will be born. So, I was saying about this earlier. The world of Death Stranding really lends to like A24 like production and just like the visuals and cinematics and shit. But Hideo Kojima, like I said, he's the maker of Death Stranding, but he like does the Metal Gear games. I'm not super familiar with him. I know like he split up with what studio? I don't know. But like he got into it with a studio, and like he was like developing a lot of games for them, and like just had different creative visions. So he parted ways, I think, and then he started his own shit. But he does like the Metal Gear Solid games, which are really cool actually. I need to get way more into that series. I only really played the one on PS4. What is it? Metal Gear Solid. I actually played two. There was the smaller one, the Ground 6 or whatever. That was like a mini game, not like a mini game, but it was like a smaller size game. Phantom something? No, I was saying for Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, but nah, it was a Metal Gear game on PS4. It's pretty fun. I got pretty into it. But like I said, with RPG games or longer games and shit, I'll just stop playing and like come back and just be in the middle of the story and not know what's going on. So I just have to start it over. So I started that game over like 3-4 times, not gonna lie, but I enjoyed it. But he just has, and then also Hideo Kojima. What's really great about this is he posts a lot about movies and shit, and he seems to be a real movie buff. So I feel like he knows, not like he knows how to make a movie or whatever, but he knows what he's like talking about and knows what to look for. And so him partnering up with A24, who also have like a strong creative vision, is really this is just very interesting. And then also there's like a lot of star actors in Death Stranding, like Norman Reedus plays the main character. He's like the guy he plays Daryl in The Walking Dead. He's in other stuff too. He's great. Mads Mikkelsen, I think, plays a villain in Death Stranding. So there's some really high level actors, and if they get those actors on an A24 film, that's gonna be lit. I'm not gonna lie. Just even like Death Stranding aside, but them just also like working with A24 is gonna be interesting to see. You know, I'll be talking about A24 again. Is that really all I have to say though? Yeah, maybe I'll do a Death Stranding playthrough on my channel or my second channel, or I'll play it on my own. But after fucking Cyberpunk, I might actually do this on my own. Really been, my second channel is DS2 Smooth Elongated. Go check that out. I'm actually exporting an episode right now during this podcast for Cyberpunk. But yeah, I think I want to get into God of War next. I don't know. We'll see. Because there's a new DLC. But anyways, a new game alert. This is actually really interesting. So it's called Mouse. This is going to be PC. So I thought it was going to be PC exclusive, but it's also coming to consoles. But if you don't, well, obviously if you don't know, this is going to, it's like I don't know if you've seen Cuphead, but it's kind of like in that cartoony style. And this is it's based on, is a gritty noir-filled first-person shooter that draws inspiration from classic cartoons of the 1930s. And so you're playing this mouse, and there's a bunch of mouse. So it's like kind of Cuphead, like art style type shit, like cartoony vibes. And then it's Doom, like the old Doom games, like first-person run shooter. I guess the new ones are kind of like this too, but it's a lot less Doom. The new Doom games, the movement's crazy, but this is a lot more like akin to the old Doom games where you're just running or walking around shooting shit. But there seems the gameplay looks really fun. There's a lot of not like this is we're gonna sell the game, but there's like a lot of gore. The weapons seems fun. Like you're he's over here like he drinking. I think this is a Popeyes reference. He like drunk a can or opened a can of food or whatever, and then he wound his fist up and punched someone, and like he's shooting people's heads off, and these are all like mice, like mice characters, humanoid, not like actual mice, but like a Mickey Mouse type shit. But he has like this old like Tommy gun. It looks fun. Honestly, when this comes out, I definitely plan to play this maybe on the channel. But it just looks super stylized. He's throwing dynamite at people and they're like barbecuing and like crumpling to dust and shit, like on some old Tom and Jerry cartoon Looney Tunes shit. And he's using a finger gun shooting at people. It just looks super like, like I just said, stylized, and not really sure what the story is looking like. But again, I feel like there's some games where the art style and the gameplay carries it, even if the story is not super engaging or whatever. But for me, if that is the case, the game can't be that long. I'm just gonna get in. I'll be playing the game and like the gameplay. I'll get it. Like like I experienced enough type shit. If the story is not super compelling. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. That's definitely looks cool to see. Who is it by? So it's looking at a 2025 release. I'm trying to see who's made by though. Hold on. Oh, Fumi Games, Fumi Games. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. But another new game alert. So Hunter x Hunter is getting a fighting game. I think I mentioned it before. I'm not super into fighting games, but Hunter x Hunter is one of my favorite animes ever, and it's being developed by Bushiroad Games and Aiding. And I was looking at Bushiroad Games, what shit they developed, and it was a bunch of shit I haven't played. But Aiding made fucking Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Maybe the old other ones, but for sure Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I'm not super into fighting games, but I really there's a little story in that. I enjoyed playing that. It was fun playing Spider-Man, and is he in that game? I don't know. It's like fucking there's Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange and shit in that game. This was cool. And so if this is gonna be and it's a good fighting game, and boy, to me it was fun. I don't know if it's like well regarded in the fighting game community or whatever, but I liked it. So if this is gonna be anything like, and it has a really great art style to it, so if it's gonna be anything like that, I'm on board. And then I saw some speculation that it could be Hunter x Hunter versus Yu Yu Hakusho, which would be fucking insane because are those made by the same people? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Or I think they're married or some shit like that. But yeah, that would be really cool. But if it's just a Hunter x Hunter game, I'm on board. If there's a story, if it's just like if it's a lackluster ass story and it's just mainly, you're just hopping online mostly, I'll probably skip it. But I'm keeping an eye out for that for sure. Because like I said, Hunter x Hunter is freaking fire. It's actually due for a rewatch. I was watching I seen a clip or something, and it made me, or maybe I seen this news, just made me want to go rewatch it. But I really, speaking of rewatching shit, I really want to. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's been on my mind. I don't know, like I really want to go back and watch that, and also Yu Yu Hakusho. I mean, that's because of the game. I have a lot of shit I want to rewatch, but then it's like, rewatch this or just watch some new shit. But on to the next piece of, I guess, another anime gaming piece of news. So possibly this image could be fake, but Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, so Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4, which I was talking about last week, which I'm super excited for. The file size was accidentally released on Xbox Market, possibly, but it has a 77 gig file size. From the looks, hold on, yes, 77.88 gig file size. And then someone replied to this and said, "Yep, they took it down. Good shit, getting the vid." So I guess someone else posted this and this guy grabbed it. But that's pretty freaking big. For instance, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is the game, I would say the main GTA, the main Dragon Ball game before this, that only has like a 4450 file size, and that game's pretty big. There's a lot of nothing in it, but like the story's pretty long and shit. So this could mean two things, one of two things, or both maybe. Um, it could just be terribly is optimized for the right word, because there's could be like a game could have really big file size and it is unjustified. Like if they like got rid of shit and like cleaned it up type shit, it could be smaller. Because I think Call of Duty's like that. If I could be wrong about that. I just heard that shit in passing. Or it just has hella characters in it, which everyone wants. And so, this is, I feel like, is a good sign that we're gonna get a lot of characters. I wouldn't say this is for certain, but it's definitely a good sign. So I'm so pumped for this game. I really hope it just has a lot of content that is non-online shit. Like I hope there's a lot of game modes and whatnot, or things to do outside of that, outside of just fighting online. But honestly, I really love this game series, and so honestly, I'll take the time to get them up online. Not gonna lie. And Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi's combat's not super extensive. Like you don't need to fucking remember 30 different combo strings and shit. You really just gotta get your blocking timing up, get your dodges up, get your just learn when to strike type shit. It's one of those games like Naruto, like when to use your subs and shit. When to fire your key blasts when the enemy's like flying back and shit and whatnot. It's a lot less technical than other fighting games. So I'll if it's really just a lot of online shit, I'll really take the time out, because I really want to play that game. But my thing with online fighting games is a lot of them like there's a delay when you fight, and it's like the rollback code or some shit is like, and that's like superior, and so like how you not get that. But a lot of, I don't know, but I just know with like the Naruto games, like when you play online, there's a lot of input delay, and I just don't fuck with that. Like I'm already fucking gotta time my attacks and shit or whatever. Like now I gotta time when I press the buttons, like so they can connect properly. Like brother, I don't want to deal with that. The last bit of gaming news though is, hold on, let me test something. Oh shit, you can. Damn. Because I've been filming this, and then like I go through when I'm editing it, I'll set my bookmarks, but I didn't know you could set bookmarks while you're recording. I got to start doing that. I guess I'm going to do that for the rest of the episode. All right. So the next bit of gaming news, let me actually fudge. I'll cut that. Boom, set a marker. The next bit of gaming news though is what's it called? Sorry, I was setting the marker, which, all right, whatever. Is the Batman got a skin in Arkham Knight, the movie The Batman, not just Batman in general, but Robert Pattinson, the Matt Reeves universe, which I'll be getting into later. There's some interesting news that literally dropped right before I was recording this with the DCU and James Gunn, which, if you aren't been listening, you know I love that DCU developments. But anyways, I'll get into it because there are going to be some. But the skin in this game looks fucking ass. So this skin released on Switch, Nintendo Switch first, which the game was running like shit on there anyway, and it already looked bad, so it's like whatever, it's the Switch, and this is like a big ass game, even though it's like hella old. They finally released it on consoles, but it dead ass looks like the Switch version. It looks fucking ass, and apparently it might be the Switch version because it doesn't produce shadows. And the other costumes it shows, it's literally right here. I have the screenshot pulled up. It just looks so like just static and not really in the game. While as in the 2008 Dark Knight suit looks producing like a shadow and a silhouette and shit, and it looks like tangible in the game. But the suit, it just looks ass. Like the textures on it look shit. Yeah, it's a bad port. It literally looks like the Switch version, which it looks shit. And I was really excited, and I brought this up because I was really excited for this skin to come out because, one, I love the Batman movie, and then Arkham Knight, I love that. And so this was just gonna be an excuse to go replay the game, and I was gonna throw it up on the channel, but yeah. So that kind of just took the wind out of my sails, and hopefully they fix it. Yeah, because it's just honest, because the Snyderverse Batman is in there, and his suit, I always rock that suit, because that, to me, that's the best. Say what you will about the universe, but that's the best live action Batman suit. And so when I play that game, I always wear that suit. And then you get the Dark Knight suit, which his that suit in that game, or that suit in general, just makes his head look like an M&M. And so he just has this weird round peanut head. And so that suit but the textures and shit, what I'm trying to say is the textures and shit on it look great, but just that the way the suit is just doesn't look great. But and so it would have been cool to have another high quality movie suit. But I mean, I guess we don't, or they'll fix it. Who knows? But keeping on the topic of the bat. Sorry if that was loud as shit in your ear. Fuck. Hold on. I gotta be really delicate how I move my setup right now because my mouse is about to fall off my desk. But then my hard drive is connected to my computer. Almost unplugged it, and I'm exporting a game, brother. Or I'm exporting an episode for a game. But anyways, the next piece of news relating to the Batman. James Gunn, the head guy in charge of the DCU. I'm not gonna explain who he is. Look it up. I do this every time I talk about James Gunn. But the head of the DCU, he says Matt Reeves' decision to keep the Batman out of the DCU was his choice, and we respect that. So, just to give some context, so the DCU is starting up Aquaman 2 that actually releases. Oh fudge! I was talking about Rebel Moon's gonna be next week. I'll get into that. I want to keep on this topic. Aquaman 2 is going to be the last of the old DC movies, and then you have all of James Gunn's movies starting the movie side, starting with Superman Legacy in 2025, which I'm really excited for. But the universe, that's going to be the official kickoff. But the first project in the universe is going to be Creature Commandos, which is I was going to say Suicide Squad, but maybe not necessarily. I don't really know much about them. But it looks interesting, though. That's going to be the first project. And then what's interesting about that, the actors will be playing the voice actors in Creature Commandos will be playing their characters in live action. So there's going to be some crossover there. Whether that's going to fully translate and work well, that's to be seen. But point being, so what was confusing about this, if the Batman was going to be in the DCU, is Andy Muschietti. He was the director of The Flash. Say what you will about that, but he does well. Good work. He was chosen to direct Batman Brave and the Bold. Sorry, I'm really trying to process this in my head in real time. That's why I'm kind of going slowly through this, because it is confusing, especially and I think most of the stuff will be cleared up once the universe actually starts up. But it's just you can't really it's still forming. You can't really say everything right now. Things change here and there. Yeah, but anyways. So if Matt Reeves decided to put the Batman in the DCU, was that going to kill Brave and the Bold? Was that going to be an Elseworld story? Or and there is I think they're still doing Elseworld stories, just stuff that's not connected to the main timeline, and so you can still get other projects the Joker and stuff outside of the main Superman Legacy and shit universe, which I think is great. You need different vibes and tones and whatnot. But so was that gonna replace? Was Robert Pattinson was he gonna be the main Batman of the DCU if he did say yes? But then this gets even a little bit more confusing. But he decided not. So yeah, there's that. But then also while I was literally driving back home to record this podcast, James Gunn was saying a bunch of stuff on Threads, which is Instagram Threads. Let's get into. He said some gaming shit too. Actually, damn, I should have said that during the gaming stuff. But I'll just get into it because it's part of Threads. So he says. Someone asked him, this is the question someone asked. The question was, sir, could you tell me if Matt is producing another Batverse project or... Hold on, I'll redo that. Redo that. Could you tell me if Matt is producing another Batverse project other than the Batman 2, Penguin, and Arkham? So, Batman 2 obviously is what Matt Reeves is working on. The Penguin... is a spin-off series of the Batman, and that's being developed by Matt Reeves, and it's a show about the Penguin, which I'm actually really looking forward to. And then Arkham. So this is where it gets confusing. So I know a while ago. So basically, Matt Reeves, he's trying to build up Batman's Rogues Gallery, which I think is great. Build up the villains, make the villains have a really strong presence, establish them, and then you get some. You already get that fucking that the groundwork laid out, and so Batman could just really just go head up in like the Batman 2, or like the movie side of things. And so he's making a spin-off Penguin series to really build Penguin up, and then there was also a rumor with a Scarecrow series being possibly in the works, or I can't remember what the news exactly. I talked about it on here, but I can't remember exactly what the news was on that. A possible Scarecrow thing, which would have been great, and then also the Arkham series. And so I don't know if it was like officially, like this was gonna be something he was working on. I really don't remember. But this would have been really good, just fucking his Arkham Asylum. That's where all Batman's big bads are. And so you could really, shine some light on, like, not take it character by character. And then, of course, you could have crossover, like, other Batman's villains can show up in Penguin and possibly the Scarecrow show, if that's a thing. But this is, like, where all of them reside and shit. And so, you could really introduce a lot of them, locked up, especially, and some even obscure characters, too. And so James Gunn's reply to this was, right now, Matt is producing Arkham as a DCU series, so there's just the two for now. So he's meaning Matt Reeves is just working on the Batman 2 and Penguin. So apparently that Arkham series is gonna be reworked for the DCU, or if it was even planned for fucking, what am I trying to say? Plan for the Matt Reeves universe. But regardless what universe it's in, I think it would definitely benefit Matt Reeves universe a lot, like I was just explaining. But it also could benefit, especially since Matt Reeves is such a good director, it can also benefit the Batman, the DCU, really build up his Batman's rogues gallery on that side. So it's really, I don't really have any complaints or anything about either side of them, saying this. But then someone said also, sorry, is the Arkham show set in the DCU? James Gunn said, yes, we love Matt as a director and producer, so he'll be producing stories both within the Batman universe and within the DCU. It's just really confusing right now because we don't know what is what. And but this idea in general, Matt Reeves working on hit shit in the Batman and the DCU is fucking great. Because he's, like James Gunn said, he's a great director. He has a strong vision. And that type of shit, like in the DCU, is what's needed. And so, him building his universe, I just hope there's not any cross wires, like as in, I want to use this for this maybe storyline or this certain character plot point or some shit for the Batman, so we're not going to be able to use it in the DCU. And again, you don't, and I don't want to see like the same thing copied, but like, there's different takes on that certain things, and so they could be avoiding shit entirely because it's going on in the Batman or vice versa. For instance, the Batman Brave and the Bold series is going to be with Damian Wayne, which is the fourth Robin, and that's Bruce Wayne's son. And I don't expect him to be in the Batman series because he's still pretty young. But I'm saying, like, as in, there's going to be, assumingly, there's going to be the Bat family in the in the Brave and the Bold, or alluding to them, or for sure in the next movie, because by then, when he has Damian, like, Nightwing's around, Red Hood is around, like as a good guy, I think, and then like you have like Cassandra Cain or some shit. You have the other Robins and whatnot, Batgirls and shit. And so the Bat family is definitely, like, if they do it that way, is definitely developed at that point. Oh, you have like Tim Drake and shit. And so like if you have like Tim Drake and whatnot and Robins in the Brave and the Bold, are they gonna maybe not do Robin at all in the Batman series or in like universe? And that's what I mean. I just hope like this doesn't get too convoluted and confusing type shit. But I mean, like Matt Reeves working on like in both universes is, I think, is cool for the reasons I previously mentioned. But it just, we just don't know what the fuck is going on. And a lot of people are confused and shit. I'm confused and I'm like into this shit. And I know as it gets going and ramping up, we'll definitely get some more of this cleared up and whatnot. So I'm not like really too fussed about that. It is really confusing right now. So there's a couple other James Gunn things. James Gunn said there would be a new intro sequence for DCU projects, and there would be a separate one for the Elseworld projects. And so, like I said, stuff like the Joker and the Batman will get like their own separate title card, and like how like the Marvel logo flickers up and shows like all the comic books or whatever, or the previous movies and whatnot. DC had something like that, but I didn't mind it. It was like whatever. But I guess there's gonna be a new one, and I feel like that's really cool. That there's gonna be two separate ones, and so it's gonna at least help separate the feeling or separate those two. So James Gunn is a little funny about this, and then after this, there's one more piece of James Gunn moves, and then we're gonna move on to why that the DCU won't even be started. Oh yeah. So here it is. He said that he does not like useless cameos, and so I'm gonna read what he said, which is funny, but I'll get into why this is funny. I call that I don't know what he was replying to. It just has the screenshot of his reply, but he said, I call that cameo, bro. I might be getting like fucking strep throat or something. My you probably hear it in my voice. My voice sounds like a little deeper, and my throat feels kind of raw. Pause. I keep having to clear my throat. But anyways, I call that cameo porn. It has been one of the worst elements of recent superhero films. If a character is in a film, they have to have a reason to be there story-wise. And then he further said, I don't mind actual cameos. If it's a glimpse or a moment an Easter egg or an Easter egg. What bothers me is when they mangle an elegant story by shoehorning characters in. They aren't there because the story calls for it, but for some other reason. So I agree with what he said 100%. And his Guardians movies, he does like, and that's why, and people are so, like, there's a lot of DC characters in Superman Legacy, and people are having a problem with that, and I'm just so confused why. Like, do you have a problem with comic books if you're into comic books, and this is probably why they have a problem with, because they're not, and not saying like I'm a fucking connoisseur, but like when like I was reading fucking some Moon Knight shit, and like he was like flying past the window, and the Fantastic Four was just like, what the fuck was that? Like it was like, and he was like doing some crazy shit, and they're like, all right, like we're not dealing with that. And it was like little shit like that, or just you just always see heroes in passing, like heroes just, having casual conversations, like moving the story. It's not like, oh my God, look at this character. It's just natural because there's superheroes in an established universe. And so it's like, and it's already been said, Superman, the DCU will be an established universe, like when Superman Legacy is going on. Like there's already been heroes going on and shit. And so it's like, of course there's going to be fucking DC heroes in a fucking universe with established heroes. And I can get, just taking away from the story and whatnot, but then also you have to look at James Gunn's track record. He always has like characters and shit that are not main characters, but like, that are established characters already, and they just support their story, like the Ravengers and the OG Guardians and what's it called? The Guardians movies. Like you get like, like Sylvester Stallone and shit. At the end of Guardians, there's a nice little cameo again, not just like distracting from the story, but it's an old former Guardian team. They're Ravengers, and it made sense. And then they also play a part, and you don't even make a big deal of it in Sylvester Stallone's not in it, and maybe that would have made it a little bit more distracting, but they play a role in fucking Guardians 3. It's like, and there's always just been, you have the Collector in the Guardians movies, and I'm just trying to think, like, you just have, he damn near exclusively deals with multiple characters at once. And like you have the Suicide Squad, for example, like you getting fucking Calendar Man and shit, like just like walking by, and it makes sense for the story because they're in this like Blackgate prison and shit. And so it's like, I don't know, bro, slow your roll. But again, I get that was like a whole tangent or whatnot. But what makes this funny is when The Flash was coming out, he was saying, and I'll explain why I think this. Maybe I went over this before, but I'll do it again, whatever. And when The Flash was coming out, he was saying like, "Oh my gosh, this is one of the greatest superhero movies ever." Da da da. And if you don't like that movie, whatever, I think it's like mid. It's like yeah, there's good moments, but it's bogged down by a lot of bullshit. But there's some decent moments in it. I like all the Batman stuff, but that movie just has literally probably the most egregious cameos in comic book movie history. Like literally reviving dead actors without their permissions. Well, you can't really do that, but it's like just let them rest because they don't have any surviving family members and they may have taken their own lives. Not even may, I'm pretty sure he did. So it's like you just throw him in his movie, which is like, I don't know, whatever. And then like, not whatever, but it's like, why would you do that? And then you have like Adam West Batman, who has no fucking like ears and shit, just literally shoehorned in. You have Nicolas Cage Superman from like a canceled movie that he was gonna star Superman in, and he's like this fucking CGI plastic man. So it's just like that movie was like literally a prime example of the cameo porn, as he calls it. And then you have like, you're saying this, but I think like, I don't think he probably should have said this is the greatest superhero movie ever, or one of. But he's the head of DC. I don't expect him to come out and fucking trash, especially, and a lot of people, especially like, this was like when he first like started to be ahead of DC. So it's like, of course you want to big up your movie, but you know, maybe he oversold it a little bit. But it's like, what do you expect him to do? You know, call the movie fucking mid, or, oh, this movie's fine, or, you know, some shit. But I do think he oversold it a lot of it. So yeah. And then also the last thing with James Gunn, apparently, I don't even know, like he had this type of, I know he probably has the knowledge now. He's like connected with DC shit, but like, I didn't know he hit this type of pull. But James Gunn says there are no plans to stop making games in the Arkham universe. This is the question. Hey James, is the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Will that be the final game for Arkham universe? And he says no plans of it being the last. I don't think he has like, again, the pull to like say that, but I think he just has like insider knowledge on, you know, that shit. And then he probably you know, talked about, you know, what games they could spin off to the shit and whatnot. And so, you know, we'll see. But I like that though. I don't know what's gonna happen in Suicide Kill the Justice League, because this is the first time we're seeing Arkham Batman interact with the Justice League, or even getting, is there any mention of the any heroes? Because for a while the Arkham universe was very Batman contained. I think maybe there might be mention to other heroes. I'm not entirely sure. I think maybe there was like a little Superman, not teaser, but hint in Arkham Knight. Could be wrong about that. But, you know, this is in the Arkham. That's why I'm really interested in Kill the Justice League, because like gameplay aside, if it's, you know, mid or whatever, I'm just, like I said, it's the first time we're seeing, and I've been fucking invested in the Arkham universe since I was like 9. When did Arkham Asylum was the first when I got the PS3 for the first time, and that was the big fat one, before they released, like, you know, the slimmer version. Arkham Asylum was the first game I got for that, and I was 2009, so it was literally probably August, so that's after my birthday, so I was definitely 9. Yeah, so like I've been invested in the Arkham universe since I was damn near 9. So what is that, over 10 plus years? Like, fuck. Let me not look stupid. Fucking hell, that's 10 plus years, whatever. It was literally simple math, but you know when like you're put on the spot, it's just like you start fucking fumbling and shit. But yeah, so it's like I'm really invested in the universe, and then seeing Batman interact with the Justice League for the first time is really interesting, and them being taken over by Brainiac. Like, how is those? I'm interested to see those dynamics. I think I talked about that last week when I was talking about the trailer or the gameplay shit for this game. But you know. So basically what I'm saying is I don't know how that's going to end. Like, is it literally Kill the Justice League, and literally Flash in the trailer says to Diana, Wonder Woman, the only League member not controlled by Brainiac, he says the only way to stop what's happening is to kill us. So yeah, it's going to suck. But he said there's no plans to stop it. So how is this going to work? Is it going to be a Flashpoint thing if they do kill all the Justice League and make Flash reset it? Which would be honestly cool if they do reset it, and then you have more of the League and Justice League presence going forward in the Arkham universe. And so, you know, possible maybe spin-off games of, you know, Flash or some shit, or I know there's a Wonder Woman game in development. I'm not sure if it's connected to the Arkhamverse or any way. But it just opens up the opportunity to maybe, you know, get a reset for the league and maybe get some, even if we do get more Batman games, more crossover with the league. And so like I was saying, like it was very just Batman centric for a while, until this game literally. So it's been 10 plus years of just Batman alone. So yeah, if if you do kill them all, like what the league members, what does that look like? More games in the universe? Are we gonna get a new wave of heroes coming in? Maybe younger ones or just like different ones. Like one character I honestly don't know if he's in the game. I could be wrong about this, but maybe some Martian Manhunter. Did I even see Aquaman? Shit, he got to be in the game, right? Some cyborg shit. Who knows? Regardless, I'm interested to see what the Arkham universe looks like after Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. How long have we been going for? An hour already. Damn. Yapaholic. Let me see. Okay, so speaking of like, the DCU and everything, what's going on and being excited for that shit might not even start. And so this is out of my depth. So if you want to go look this up, this is from Macro Axis. And it's like a bunch of numbers jargon. But the Warner Bros, the host of the DC brand, live action brand, or maybe DC brand in general right now, currently has over a 60% probability of bankruptcy. Again, like I don't know how bad that is, like technically, like what that means for future projects or whatnot, but it's always been known for a while that Warner Bros is hurting for cash. Right now, like they're literally have a piece of news connected to this where Warner Bros struck a deal with Tubi and has a deal to bring a lot of their DC projects and other projects over to their site. They've just been licensing a lot of their shit to like Netflix and whatnot and different stuff. And so they're trying to make money any way they can. And then also with Barbie has been only like one of their really only big success. Is that by them? I think. Fuck, I could be wrong about that, but fuck, hold on. Actually, we'll look that up because that is kind of important to my point. You don't you think? Barbie. Yeah. So distributed by Warner Bros. So yeah, it was really I think one of the only big hits, and then you have all these DC movies flopping, so that doesn't like really look good on the new DCU coming forward. But basically, what I'm saying is, so the main thing that I took from the article, besides like all the shit I didn't understand, again, if you more knowledgeable on that, check out Micro Axis and the probability of Warner Bros bankruptcy. But the main thing I took from this was the probability of bankruptcy should not be confused with the actual chance of a company to file for Chapter 7, 11, 12, or 13 bankruptcy protection. Macro Axis simply defines financial distress as an operational condition where a company is having difficulty meeting its current financial obligations towards its creditors or delivering on the expectations of its investors. Micro Axis derives these conditions daily from both public financial statements as well as analysis of stock prices reacting to the market conditions or economic downturns, including short-term and long-term historical vitality. Other factors taken into account include analysis of liquidity, revenue patterns, R&D expenses, and commitments. My fault, as well as public headlines and social sentiment. So yeah, that was a lot of that. Basically, this doesn't mean for sure that they're going bankruptcy, but it's honestly crazy because it's like, damn, bro, I really want to see this DC universe like at least kick off, my boy. And so if they file for bankruptcy, I really don't know what the fuck that means for the DC universe, DCU. And so that's kind of like not scary. Like, again, this is like all entertainment. Like, if this doesn't come to fruition, it definitely will be disappointing, but it's like, all right, whatever. Moving on to the next thing, I guess. But definitely, it's a little scary for them boys. I'm not gonna lie to you. But not point being, but what could possibly save this? Because, okay, this made me like spiral into a rabbit hole. I'm not into this stuff a whole lot, but then I was like, damn. So if Warner Bros is doing bad right now, what is their stock looking like? So it's like on some, again, bro, do not take my advice at all. I'm not no fucking stock guru or whatever. But I just, if a company's doing bad, and you think they could do good in the future, buy low, sell high type shit is what I always hear. But what I'm saying is though, it's like if the DCU definitely is right, bro, this could like catapult these boys into like some Disney level again, some just like Disney level money, like Marvel money, like damn near, you know what I mean. And so it's like their stock could go up type shit. And so it's like, and then also looking at their 2024 lineup. So they got Dune 2 March 1st, Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson, the guy who made Parasite, March 29th, Godzilla X Kong April 12th, Furiosa May 24th, Joker 2 October 4th, and the War of the I haven't heard of this. Rohirrim December 13th. I haven't heard about it's the Lord of the Rings thing, so maybe I won't be checking that out. I'm not super into Lord of the Rings, but if that looks great, maybe I'll get into it. But yeah, that's a stock lineup for 2024. And so what I was saying though is because I was like kind of comparing the stock prices for other production companies or distributors or whatever, and I didn't include Disney and like Sony and shit because they do other shit outside of movies and like they're kind of I think under one umbrella. Because I was like kind of like seeing if Sony has had maybe a movie studios or some shit, or no, not Paramount. And then with Disney, they got their fucking toys and a whole lot of Disneyland and a whole lot of other shit. So I was looking at Paramount and shit, and I was just comparing shit. And I guess from what I was seeing, it looked like what's its face? Warner Bros was like kind of in the middle ground. I'm not sure like where. I just got to look into it more. And I feel like that is something, if you're into that stuff, is something definitely look into. Because with stocks and shit, you got to keep up with the current, like what's going on currently with the company and whatnot. So it's like if you, especially like with tech shit, like if something like being patented and you think is going to be like really big in the future, you start investing in that company now. So I feel like this is kind of like the same vein. Like no one really listens to these right now, but someone please correct me if I'm wrong. So I feel like the tech side of shit, this is kind of like the movie type side of shit. I don't know. But I think it's something worth looking into. Is that all I need to say about that? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So anyways, on to some Marvel news. There's two animated things that I'm actually pretty keeping my eye on for. So Spider-Man Freshman Year, which was going to be about Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man, is going to be about his freshman year in high school. So like before he gets recruited to, fight in Germany with Iron Man and whatnot, and before Homecoming and shit. And so it gets a new title though, the animated series, because it was kind of in limbo for a while, and it was gonna have like Daredevil, and it was gonna have Doc Ock, who we haven't seen before. It was gonna have like Norman Osborn, who we haven't seen before. It was gonna have Harry and shit, which are nowhere in the universe. And so a lot of people were confused on like, okay, they said this is gonna be freshman year connected to the MCU Spider-Man, so how the fuck is this gonna get in, like, play a part? So it gets a title change though, called Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So I guess it's gonna be its completely own thing, which is cool. This comes from also the Hollywood. I haven't not been saying where I've been getting shit. I always tell myself that, and I need to get better at that. From here on out, we'll do it. I promise we'll do it. But this is from the Hollywood Handle, and they reported so basically what I get, like, my news from Twitter type shit, because they like bring it to the forefront, and then I go try to find the articles, or they usually link an article and I read the article. So I'm not just taking, because a lot of the Twitter, like, they'll just whatever's like grabbing the attention. So if you go strictly off the Twitter headline, it might not be the case when you actually read the article. I mean, that's a lot of shit, to be honest. But this is from the Hollywood Handle. But what I'm saying though is, like, we recently reported about, I forgot her name, but she plays Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy, and it reported like she was going to be in the DCU or Superman Legacy, one of those two. And James Gunn came out and cleared that up. But basically what I was saying, like, if it doesn't have an article linked to it, I'm kind of sketched about it, and this doesn't have an article linked to it. But this is something way more, like, when it's something like this, like a series name change, especially for something that, like, wasn't working with like the original shit anyway, this makes more sense to just like believe something like this off face value, because there's no link to this or anything or link to an article. But yeah, so what I was saying though about this is it was gonna be really cool just if it was linked to the MCU, but I think it actually is better that it's not. I really like the character designs for the characters in this series. So they have Black Harry Osborn, which threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting that, but hey, them niggas always have waves on their head, so why not just make Harry Osborn black? But anyways, there's like a lot of cool Peter Parker suits. It looks like a Future Foundation suit. I could be wrong about that. He's like has a knight, like space knight suit. Like I don't know what could be that used for. He has like this stealth suit with web wings, and he has like this other suit. And then I really like the art style for Peter, or the style for Peter's looks really good. It looks like his the original what's it called, comics. Like he has that 90s look to him. Is this official? This is some concept art on Doctor Strange. He looks cool as shit. I don't know if that's official because I've never seen that one before. But there's Harry, like I was saying, Harry Osborn's black and he has like cornrows. He looks fucking dippy. I'm not gonna lie. So that's gonna be cool to see. People be tripping about like race swaps, and sometimes it does bother me when it bothers me 100% when it's a black person getting swapped for someone else. So that's when it bothers me, or that is a big reason, because there's been a historical like president of black actors or animated stuff. It just black people in media in general being not properly represented in being replaced and whatnot. Like there's a history of that, and so that's why it bothers me that way. But then it also like it doesn't bother me as much the other way. But then I can see why it is annoying. I just don't think it's like that serious when it's the other way, but it can definitely be annoying. I feel like. And in this case, what I'm saying is especially if a lot of black characters and like why a race change doesn't make sense for a lot of them, it's usually the characters tied to their blackness. Like they're either like their environment and that kind of sounds bad. Like not every black person grows up in a bad environment, but you know, in the reality, some it's keep it a buck, like, you know, some do. And so it's usually kind of sometimes tied to that, or it's just tied how they're treated outside of, even if they don't grow up in a bad environment, you know, treated discriminately because of their skin color and whatnot. Usually it's tied to their blackness, their origin, like where they come from, Africa or some shit. With a lot of white characters or other, with a lot of white characters, that's not usually the case. Like I would say, like someone like Captain America, like if you race swapped him, that would be like a bigger deal, because I feel like that really is like a point of his character. Like he's a white person, like in the times of when the shit was a lot like hella racist, but he still has like strong morals and shit and whatnot, you know, and he doesn't like succumb to that. And I feel like that is him being white is a part of his character. And so it's like replacing someone like Harry Osborn, where it's like him being white isn't a part of his character, it doesn't really matter. And the new Harry design with the fucking braids and shit looks fire as fuck. So I'm not really tripping at all. But I'm saying though, I can see why that could be annoying. But at the end of the day, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? But yeah, we got some looks at like Daredevil and shit. He looks cool. We got some looks at Norman Osborn. He looks cool as shit. He has the waves, and now it actually makes sense because he's fucking black. But yeah, I really like digging the art style for this show. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm cool. I'm glad it got a name change, because it was really confusing how that was gonna slot into the MCU. And honestly, if it was just like using the MCU as a basis and it was like, you know, not connected, that would have been fine too, I guess. But I feel like you just get a lot of more creative liberty with it not being connected. So as long as, and with animated Spider-Man animated stuff has been kind of mid. I just really want a good, well-written Spider-Man animated show. Maybe I should go finish Spectacular Spider-Man if I'm feeding for that. But I just like Spider-Man animation. Like, I know Ultimate Spider-Man isn't really well regarded, but I just really think that show's super fun. A lot of cool character interactions and whatnot with other heroes and shit. like I said, you get the Spectacular Spider-Man series, you get the '90s Spider-Man series. So there's been good Spider-Man animation. It's just like it's been kind of lacking lately. And there's like like I got a couple kid shows, and there was this other one that I just don't think was super well regarded. I think I heard it like had some decent moments, but just super. I just want a well written animated show. Like I really love animation. And speaking of still on animation, Eyes of Wakanda is an animated Black Panther series that will release on Disney Plus in 2024. The synopsis is: throughout the Wakandan history, brave warriors have been tasked to travel the world retrieving dangerous vibranium artifacts. This is their story. I definitely would have preferred if this was about like a Black Panther or something. Not even not necessarily about T'Challa, but maybe someone in the. I mean, anyways, hold on. I feel like that would have been cool, but then this itself, it's not a bad premise at all. It definitely, I feel like I'm still interested, but it just remains to be seen. Like, what is this gonna? I feel like it's just gonna have some compelling characters because it's gonna have to have some compelling characters because, if we're talking about Wakanda shit, like I want to see the Black Panther. What I was saying though, he could definitely show up, and it's throughout his Wakandan history, so we could be getting looks at different. Oh, well, hold on, I'm talking myself into this. We could be getting looks into like different, okay, so they're saying throughout history they get sent out or whatever. What would be cool is like we getting seen a king from this era, maybe T'Challa's grandfather or some shit, or way back to like one of the first Black Panthers, and like we just see them in the background. They're not like the forefront. Maybe they're just sending them out on the missions or whatever. But it would just be cool to see a look at Wakandan history. I just kind of really talked myself into this because I wasn't super excited, but now I'm looking forward to this. I was always looking forward to this, so that's why I put it here. But now I'm a little bit more excited. But yeah, so looking forward to that. It looks like the picture they used as well. It looked like this could just been the screenshot they grabbed, but this looks like the what if animation style. So I don't know if it's still gonna be there, and I'm keeping it a buck with you. I really don't like the what if animation style. I feel like it flows well and shit, but I'm just not a super big fan of it. I don't think it looks bad or anything, but I feel like it could definitely look better. Especially with getting Spider-Man, this new Spider-Man series. It has like its own like style and shit, and so I just hope that all Marvel animation like going forward with this stuff, it doesn't look the same. If it does end up looking the same, it's whatever. As long as the stories are good, I'm down to clown. But on to the next bit of news. How long have we been going for? We've been yapping. 119. Damn, we have a main topic, but honestly, it's pretty long too. So I'm honestly about to split that up. But I'm a blitz through this news. So Dwayne Johnson will star in his first A24 film, directed by Benny Safdie. Safdie. The film will be a drama that follows an MMA fighter, Mark Kerr, during his peak era in the UFC as he struggles with addiction, winning, and love. And then, so this, honestly, I'm not super drawn to the premise, but A24 is attached. Benny Safdie, he has a brother, the Safdie Bros or whatever. They did Uncut Gems. Dwayne Johnson in an A24 film. That's interesting. Give me 1 second. So a criticism with the Dwayne is that he plays the same role, which he does. So we haven't, and people say you can't act, and I think like out of all the wrestlers turn actors, like you get John Cena, Batista, I'd say The Rock are the biggest ones, and you get like there's probably some other ones, but I feel like those are the biggest ones. In my opinion, it goes Batista's really good though. I really like John Cena. Maybe I just got to see more Batista shit because he's in Blade Runner 2049 or maybe, and he's in one of the Bond movies, and he's also in Knock at the Cabin. So maybe I just need to see more of his work. But to me, John Cena is the best right now. His work in Peacemaker is really great, and in the Suicide Squad and other stuff as well. But my ranking is John Cena, Batista, and The Rock. But a lot of and John Cena was getting this criticism too, and I think Batista was as well. Just really getting the same like meathead roles. But as they started like developing in their acting careers, they were branching out to different shit. And it really like showcased their acting abilities, and you really see how good they are. And But with The Rock, is like he was kind of always playing the same roles, and so you just didn't really see that and see his like he's good at what he is in, but it's like, okay, does he have that range? And the MMA shit is kind of like is the samey, but I feel like with the A24 film, um, and the director, I feel like they could really bring a different performance out of The Rock. So I'm really and speaking of like a wrestling MMA shit, A24 film Iron Claw, I gotta see when that comes out because I think it's pretty soon. It's wasn't getting the best. I wouldn't say the reviews, but okay, so it's based on a true story, and so this guy called Lean Cuisine, he went to go see the movie early, and he's just like he's like a skit maker, but he went to go see the movie early, and he said he liked it, and I'm saying that because I don't know the nigga, but usually shit like he talks about. I'm like, okay, I'm into that. And so he said it was good, but also I was hearing that it wasn't really accurate to how the real story played out, and so that's why it was like bad. So, and I think what I've gathered is the I feel like it's a good movie, but it's just not accurate to the source material. And me not being familiar with the source material, I might like end up really really liking it, but then finding out later I could see how inaccurate it is, and I could change my opinion on it. But yeah, so it's like, so that's with that, and I don't know what the connection there was, but yeah, it was just two wrestling MMA shits and made by A24. So I'm keeping an eye out for this. See what other names get attached, what other actors get attached and whatnot. So yeah. Keeping on with A24 news, I told you there was quite a bit. You didn't believe me, but now you do. The first trailer for A24's Alex Garland's Civil War, starring Kristen Dunst, Kaylee Spaney, and Jesse Plemons, is in theaters April 26th. So basically, in this trailer, I was really debating if I was like, this doesn't really seem the Civil War. Before I watched the trailer, I was like, doesn't really seem that interesting. But then basically, I forget the reasoning, but America is in a civil war, and so Kristen Dunst's character, from what I gathered from the trailer, she's like a photographer. I don't know. I'm stumbling because I don't know exactly what it's called, but she takes pictures. Like she goes into combat and shit with the soldiers when they deploy and shit, and she takes pictures of like documenting it, and she basically she's doing that in she has a line in the trailer. I'm sorry, I'm like trying to think about it. She has a line in the trailer where she's like, "Oh, I thought I was sending like pictures back home to warn people what not to do," but she was like, "Oh, I guess I was like documenting like what's gonna happen or some shit to us or something." But it just has a lot of good actors attached to it. Kristen Dunst, MJ in Spider-Man and other stuff. Jesse Plemons, he was in Breaking Bad, and he's really good in a lot of other things. He plays like this army character, and he's like so the characters come across them, and they're like, he's holding them up, and he's like in this army getup and whatnot, and so he's like, one of the characters is like, "Oh, you don't need to do this. We're all Americans here," and he's like, pause. He was like, "But what type of American are you?" So it's just like, I don't know, it's just like a really interesting premise, and it's gonna be definitely keep an eye out for this. It has some really great other actors attached to it as well. But yeah, so Civil War in America, is that speaking to possible what's gonna happen? I don't know. And Netflix is the next piece of news. Netflix is actively working on their live action My Hero Academia adaptation. This is from Collider. So I was talking about one of the weeks the Yu Yu trailer, Yu Yu Hakusho live action trailer, and yeah, with anime adaptations, I feel like they just lose a lot of the sauce of the anime. Like maybe they can't like really lean into like anime comedy because it doesn't translate well to film. Can't really translate the powers well and the fights and the cinematography and the shit. And you just lose a lot of shit going into live action. So I just don't know why live action anime is so popular. But with My Hero, I'm gonna get to Yu Yu Hakusho anime in a second because I might check that out. But I feel like My Hero Academia is one of those universes that could be easily translated to live action because essentially it's the fucking X-Men. not fucking. It's really not like that, but I'm saying like a school full of heroes and like the abilities that the characters have in My Hero aren't that fucking out there and outlandish. And there could be some, but for the most part, you just get the main character Deku, like he just has like super strength and super speed, and you just have to visually make that look great. I guess that's like simplicity, like simple oversimplifying it, but I feel like that's just not something that's like super hard to translate. You feel me? And then like you got Bakugo, he has like explosive like grenade powers and shit. I feel like that could be easy to translate. You got the ice nigga, you got like he's ice and fire or whatnot. That's easily to translate. You got like the guy with the shadows. That's easily to translate. You got the guy who can walk through walls and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's easier to translate than a lot of the other anime, big scope anime shit. So I feel like this universe really lends to a live action adaptation, and then also Monarch Legacy of Monsters producer Joby Harold is attached to the project. I'm not sure what it says he's a producer on Monarch Legacy, but I'm really not sure exactly what a producer does yet. But I'm really liking Monarch Legacy of Monsters, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like My Hero is like one of those universes, like I just been saying, could be easily translated, and so it's still speculated right now if this is going to be a movie or a series. I wouldn't. I mean, I feel like it would definitely benefit from more of a series because it's a long ass show or whatnot. But a movie would definitely be like bigger budget and be able to, I feel like, get the powers across easier or make them look better. But I was saying though, I might check out the Yu Yu Hakusho show because I was watching a fight scene on Netflix, and it had that criticism that I said. It was like, oh, they stripped like all the comedy out and it's like deadly serious and the pacing's terrible. Like they just combining a bunch of arcs and shit and not like letting shit develop properly, which I figured like that's usually the case with anime live action stuff. But the actions looked really good. There was this fight with with Yusuke and this like demon, the big red demon guy. I'm pretty sure it's early in the anime. I don't super remember that fight. So I can't compare it to the anime, but it just looks super well. It was super well choreographed. The action felt super dynamic and intense and very impactful. So I might go check out that show, even though a lot of elements are missing. I'm down to see some. I'm an action guy. If I'm down to see some great action, keep it a buck with you. But the next piece, we got quite a bit of anime news, low key. The One Piece. So One Piece is getting a remake by Wit Studios and Netflix. So Wit, I think, did Mappa. Wit, I can't remember. I think Mappa took over Attack on Titan the later seasons, but it was the earlier season of Attack on Titan, which look fucking phenomenal, were developed by Wit, and also Wit did Vinland Saga, which looks fucking amazing. I need to actually, that honestly might be the next thing I watch. I need to get on Vinland Saga season 2 because I really like the first one. I was just waiting for season 2 to wrap up completely because I like binging my anime. That's how I was introduced to it, and that's how I always consumed it, and so. I really don't like to wait week to week for anime. I like to all finish up and then I'll tap in. I'm really waiting for this fucking new season of JJK Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 to wrap up because I'm super excited to get into that. I've been seeing some crazy ass clips, and been trying to avoid them, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I've been not trying too hard, but whatever. So that's getting a remake, and so I guess a big complaint with One Piece is that the pacing is just terrible. And so I started One Piece. It's if you don't know what One Piece is, it's like 1,000+ episodes. But it's fun. It's really fun. I'm on like the Alabasta arc, and it's just so the problem with One Piece is a weekly series or some shit, and not seasonal. And so it's constantly going. So it has a lot of filler and just it dicks around a lot, and that's kind of why I stopped. And it wasn't because I was disliking it. It just, bro, it just felt like shit was just dragging in the Alabasta shit. But the thing is, I was liking what I was seeing. It was just like, bro, can we get this bitch moving though? So it's just like it kind of dilly daddles. But this will be a remake and really condensing all of that. And so honestly, I'm really excited for this because I haven't, like I said, the Alabasta arc. I'm like 100 episodes or so in. So that's a lot, but comparatively to the 1,000, that's not a lot. And so I might just really just freeze where I am and just experience it through the wit way if they do end up like doing this for the whole series. So I'm and the animation studio attached to it is really great, and Netflix is really gets I don't see it talked about enough, but their anime shit is actually really solid, most of it. So I'm really excited about this. And then what was crazy is official teaser for Chainsaw Man the movie Ree's arc dropped. I didn't watch the teaser, but I read the manga of Chainsaw Man, and bro, I finished that shit in like 2 days. Like I was literally fucking I finished part one, so part two I'm letting that build up. But brother, I've binged the fuck out of Chainsaw Man, and I was just completely captivated by that story. And I didn't even watch season one because Chainsaw Man, it's interesting when it starts out, but when it really kicks off, bro, that shit is gas. And so it's just not there in the anime yet. So again, I like to binge shit, so I'm just waiting for it to get to that part. So when this movie drops, this is where this movie's like the arcs that it takes place is like the start of when his shits get crazy. And so them animating it to a movie is fucking amazing because honestly, and the way that Chainsaw Man flows, it's very fast paced. So them condensing it into a movie is not a problem, I don't think, at all. I feel like it really could benefit, especially if it's just the arc and it's not like, hella shit. They can definitely pull this off easily and then make it look amazing. And then I was seeing that they could just go back to, and then see when they start season 2 will be like the start of like will be the last half of part 1, which honestly would work great. Make a movie, and then because the shit that happens after the Reese shit is like, I think it's like an assassination arc or some shit. Is it could be some crazy week to week shit. So I'm really big fan of Chainsaw Man. Just I didn't watch the teaser trailer, so I'm just really keeping an eye on this. When this comes out, that's when I'll go and rewatch and watch season 1, and then I'll experience this. But yeah, I just want to move on. That's why I was like kind of rushing at the end. But the last bit of news before we get into our main topic of best and worst superhero games. Zack Snyder says his dream casting for Rebel Moon. And so it was funny. Did I say this already? I don't know. But anyways, so I thought Rebel Moon was coming out. Oh, I did say this. This week. But it comes out next week. But then also, actually, I can look at this up now. Does Aquaman 2 come out next week? Because I might do a double feature if I don't have a lot to say about either of them. Aquaman 2, December 22nd. 2023. So yeah, it comes out next week, and so that's when Rebel Moon comes out. So yeah, I'm for sure watching Aquaman, but I'll watch Rebel Moon. And if I just don't have hella shady shit about Aquaman, and I don't have hella shit to say about Rebel Moon, I'll just do 2. Or if I do, and because I want to talk about both of them, because Rebel Moon, fuck, did I even get into the news about Rebel Moon? I don't know, but fuck, I'm getting sidetracked like a mug. I've been hearing mixed things. So Rebel Moon was getting some terrible critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't really mean anything necessarily, but I feel like that's a good at least gauge base point at the very least of what you're walking into. At the end of the day, form your own opinion, but I don't know. I think it means something, like a little something, but it was like at a astronomically low percentage, like 26 or below. And a lot of the things were basically criticisms of most Zack Snyder films that I haven't seen a ton of his films. Like Watchmen, I think is adapted from source material, so that's like one of the better written ones. But the main complaint is that he just has great visuals, but the story just is like fucking nonsense. And so that's was the criticism for this as well, is that yeah, it looks great, but the story fucking sucks. And then it was getting a bunch of positive reviews, and it was all from users who have only made one review. So one review on Rebel Moon. And so that could just be a lot of bots or just people who Zack Snyder fanboys just coming to shill the movie or whatever. So I just want to see where the shit lies. Like, is it really great? Because it was like an 86% audience score. And this is only released in the UK so far. So is it actually fucking great? Is it actually fucking ass? Is it just made? I'm very interested to find that out. And I've been interested in the movie regardless, besides that, because it's was basically marketed as Star Wars, but fucking rated R. So that's just interesting in itself. So regardless, I'm interested. And so, like I said, if I do end up having quite a bit to say about either of those films, I might just keep the news super light and really just highlight those films. Who knows? But yeah, I just thought it was coming out this week. But anyways, if I didn't even fucking say the news like an idiot, Zack Snyder. This is from Variety. Zack Snyder says his dream casting for Rebel Moon franchise is LeBron James. I know that sounds crazy. This is what he said. That is just so fucking funny. If you don't, if you haven't seen the LeBron memes, they just be like, if there's something to do with LeBron, and say like LeBron's cooking or some shit, they'll be like Lee Chef, or like, as for instance, like LeBron was playing Call of Duty, it'd be like Lee Gamer, Lee Soldier or some shit, Leg Gamer. That shit's just hella funny to me, and so, yeah. But basically, Lee Space Cadet, Lee Rebel Moon, Lee Space Pirate, LeBron James. Like, come on. Not come on. But that shit's just hella funny to me. But LeBron James being in a high budget, like, Star Wars movie, like, it would be so fucking funny. Usually he's just in, like, more comedic shit that I see him in. But to see him in, like, something that like, serious would be so hilarious. Oh my gosh. I just really hope that happens so bad. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's the end of the news. Really, no comic shit this week. I know I was talking about I wanted to get into Wonder Woman Dead Earth, but I honestly didn't even finish it yet. I was super close, and I just stopped reading. I could literally finish in like 10 minutes, but I just have not watched it. But let's get into the main topic. Let's get into the main topic: best and worst superhero games. So this is yeah. So we'll just there's 401, right? So I don't think we've been going for hour 40 now. I'll probably just do this for about 2 hours. And then because I feel like this could be split up, because I was like really I looked through them all, and there's a lot of bangers deep below, because this is being sorted by popularity. And I didn't really decide how I want to. Should I go year? No, I'll just go by popularity. So the first one is Spider-Man 2. What would I even say? Yeah, best and worst superheroes games. I mean, let's get into it. It's pretty self-explanatory. This list is from IMDb. Yeah. So Spider-Man 2, I won't like get super into it, but this is has a 9.4 rating. That's interesting. This game's great. I think I'll just keep it brief. Mechanically, fucking phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Story is fucking mid as hell. 5, 6 out of 10. But I would say, just from a pure experience standpoint, me just being a giant Spider-Man fan, and just me, this is like the scale of the game, the abilities and combat, like moves and shit, traversal, is what I want in a Spider-Man game. So it's like, from experience standpoint, 10 out of 10, easily. But I've already reviewed that game, so if you want to hear my thoughts, go listen to that episode. The next one is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This is not out yet, but I already briefly spoke about it. Super excited for this, like mainly for the story, not so much more of the gameplay loop and mechanics, but yeah. The next one on this list, number 3, is, I'm kind of like blitzing through these, because like, these first two I already been talked about, but I'll probably slow down once we get into some other shit. And I'll probably, like I said, I'll go like 20 minutes on this and see where I get. And there's some more, so this might be a part 2 thing as well. The next one is Batman Arkham Knight. I was talking about this earlier as well. Damn, these are all shits I've been talking about. But as we get into it, past these 3, I think it's shit that I haven't mentioned fucking in the same episode. But Arkham Knight, brother, is, I think, story-wise, is definitely the weakest out of the trilogy for sure. I'd say quadrilogy, because there's 4 games with Origins, but it's just not made by Rocksteady or whatever. But I liked Origins. But it's definitely the worst story out of the 3, but bro, it's basically Batman Simulator. Say what you will about the Batmobile, it's definitely for sure overused, but then just the fact that this is the first game, at least first Arkham game, where you get to just control the Batmobile, bro, and not just like on a fucking mission, like, oh, it's like scripted or whatever, but no, free roam with a fucking Batmobile, bro. That is lit. That is so fucking fun. The what's it called? The combat of it, I think the combat of the Batmobile is fun. It's just overused. That's all it is. And it just really the boss yeah, so just Batman Simulator, bro. That is just the way you like the fucking momentum, like speaking of like Spider-Man traversal, just when this game came out, this was just peak traversal, like the way you could like eject from your Batmobile and it like sends you boost like flying up in the air, and then you string that into a glide, and then you dive and then catch more momentum, and you can use your grappling hook, and if you like triple tap or quadruple tap X, you'll get this giant boost, and like that is so fucking fun. Before like the Spider-Man games out, that's was my main superhero game that I would always come, and I still revisit it, like come back and just play through the story again, just redo the DLC, because that's some like the Infamy DLC. I don't even think I did it all, but just excuses to play that game. And then they have, like, speaking of DLC, they have like the Red Hood like mission pack or whatever, and they have the Batwoman mission pack, which is fun. And so it's playing as different characters. You can play as Nightwing in there. There's like a couple sections where you can and there's like different challenge missions with these characters as well, that like gives you more excuse to play with them and whatnot. And like I said, the story was pretty mid. The reveal of Arkham Knight was, you can see that from a mile away. Maybe that was the point. Actually, that wasn't the point, because they try to play it like it was like on some crazy shit. But like literally, as soon as you hear about Jason Todd, you're like, okay, well, we know who the Arkham Knight is. Like, what the fuck? Sorry if I spoiled that game, but whatever. The shit came out in 2015. Yeah, but. And the boss fights in it were kind of ass. Like, whew. And speaking of Arkham Origins, though, they have a really fun Deathstroke fight. I can't remember. Does he remember your moves? Like, you can't do the same moves twice. I know that happens in Arkham City against Mr. Freeze. You can't, like, if you go and you do a stealth takedown from behind, you can't do that anymore. If you hit him from like under a grate under the floor, and you pop out on him and you hit him with that, you can't do that again. So you can't repeat your same attacks, which is really cool for a boss fight. It makes you like actually adapt and think about what you have to do next and shit, and really implement the different ways you could use your gadgets. Like, there's multiple of ways to do damage to him, but it's like, once, like, for instance, you get this like magnetic, or you get this electric gun that can turn on magnetic like generators, and like if you shoot the magnetic generator and it pulls Mr. Freeze to that shit, and he's stuck for a little bit, and you go and put the beats on him, he'll like freeze that shit. And then I gotta think of a different way. You hit him from, I would just literally said this, but now I'm saying like the ways he counters it. You hit him from the grate, you come up from the floor, and then he like freezes the floor, so you can't access that way no more or whatever. So it's just really cool. And Spider-Man did, actually Spider-Man's the next game, like the first PS4 one in 2018. But yeah, so we had really cool boss fights, and then Arkham Origins had this cool boss fight against Deathstroke, and that's what I think where my point spiraled off to. I don't know if he was like remembering your moves, but it was a fun boss fight nonetheless. But then, so you get this boss fight with Deathstroke, right? And you have to battle him in the Batmobile, and he's in this giant tank. And you're like, and during the boss fight, I remember like first playing it, I was just like, oh shit, Deathstroke, we got a cool ass boss fight in Origins. Is it gonna be the same? Like, okay, we gotta do this little tedious tank shit, but like after, bro, when his tank is destroyed, bro, he's about to hop out that bitch, and we're gonna get the boxing, huh? Nope. As soon as you fucking destroy that shit, the shits, I don't know exactly. Is he in it, or maybe, no, because you arrest him, right? I think, I don't know, but. After the tank shit, it's over. Like, you don't even fight him hand to hand. One of the most deadliest assassins, an enemy that could give, one of the only enemies that can give Batman a tough time hand to hand combat. Yeah, we're not gonna let you fight him at all. Let's not do something cool like that. And just the boss fights and that shit were so lackluster, even against like Jason Todd. Or Arkham Knight, it's like he's just sitting on a sniper shit, and you gotta like get him off the perch point. Like, that's boring as shit. And I think, and I see, to make a boss fight interesting with the type of character that fights similar to you, it's kind of hard. And I think the Spider-Man 2 did that really well. When you're Miles Morales against Peter, like, they fight literally mechanically similarly, but the way they make the computer do that. They do it in a way like he's like giving you a tough time. Um, I just feel like that's a little harder than to do. To properly translate that and to make it challenging because you know all the moves and shit. What am I trying to say? Then compared to like I don't know, a different character with a different power set, you know. I feel like you have to do a little bit more extra work to make that more engaging. And I think the Deathstroke Origins one did that, and then they did that in Spider-Man 2, and even the Taskmaster fight in Spider-Man 1, which I'll get to, was really good as well. You couldn't do the same moves. It was like the Arkham City shit. You couldn't do the same moves against Taskmaster because Taskmaster, he's a character that plays. He is a character that. All right, I'll get into it. But yeah, Arkham Knight, I feel like overall is a really good, but a good Batman simulator, but it definitely is lackluster story wise. Damn. I only got into 3. So these games, it's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins, are all good. I'll honestly, I'll get back to those. Let's talk about a bad one because it's best and worst. Let me see. Oh, Marvel's Avengers. Let's talk about this. So it has a 6.3 rating. Okay, I don't think this game is terrible. The things inside the game are terrible. The story I feel like is really, I think it's fun, gives you excuse. Again, I feel like most of this stuff, if you're not engaged in these universes and these characters, it's gonna be a lot easier to lose yourself because at the very least, like mechanically, if the gameplay is not there, I'm interested in the storyline and see where this shit goes. And that's with Marvel's Avengers. So this game, it released with a bunch of cryptocurrency, like a bunch of in-game currency, a bunch of buyable skins and microtransactions and shit like that. Just shit that does not need to be in a single player. It is online, but a narrative-driven superhero game, like a live service superhero game, like that doesn't make sense. Like superhero games, and it could work, but for the most part, and with Gotham Knights too, I didn't play that one, but I think it's free. I actually might check that out. But it's just, why is that decision you want to go? Like, why not focus your time and efforts to give more fucking? So when I was playing this game, a big thing is like no variety of enemy types. Like all the enemy types are pretty much the same. All the locations are pretty much the same. Like you don't really go into. You don't really visit some interesting locations like that. No significant Marvel Universe locations. Like, it'd have been cool. Fuck, I don't know. Go to the Negative Zone. Go to fucking Hell, to Mephisto's realm. Go to Atlantis. Go to fucking Planet Nowhere. No, like Planet Nowhere or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, do something like go somewhere interesting. And so I feel like they was focused on a lot of the wrong things. But I would say, like, in general, the gameplay is fine. It is a little clunky, but it's just like I don't know. Like, again, just being into superheroes and shit, like, I'm playing his store. I get to throw his fucking hammer and pin someone to the wall and recall it back and get to beating on somebody else. Like, that shit's cool. Like, I'm Iron Man. I get to fucking fly around and shoot fucking my lasers at people, summon a Hulkbuster and fucking fire my unibeam like I'm Hulk. I get to do these I get to use, like, jump around and, like, fucking smash it and whatnot. And then you're Kamala Khan, you get to use her embiggening power, make giant ass fist and grow like super tall and whatnot. Like, being into these characters, like, that shit is fun. Like, and then I didn't play as Kate Bishop or none of the DLC characters. I was just going through the main story. Because some of the DLC characters came with, like, their own story missions and some didn't. So I really didn't get into all that. But, like, you have Black Panther and whatnot. And then you can you have, like, the Winter Soldier. And then you get lazy shit like, oh, the Winter Soldier's, like, moves are, like, literally the same as Captain America's and shit. And his animations and whatnot. And so, you get shit like that. But I feel like, overall, it's especially if you get this game for cheap, definitely check it out. I feel like it's definitely worth it in that aspect. Just, like, story-wise and just playing as those characters. But speaking of, like, better, so this was by, like, Square Enix or some shit, and then someone in, like, the same area, like, studios or Square Enix and shit, or something. But Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is a banger. And so when this game came out, it didn't do, actually, I think it did pretty okay, but it just had a. Well, I know when it was coming out, a lot of people was like, "Oh, okay, is this gonna be another Marvel's Avengers situation?" Okay. Let me say this: the people who played it really enjoyed it, but I don't think it just was. It had the Marvel's Avengers stink on it. Like people really weren't trying to give it a chance, but the ones that did really enjoyed it, and I was one of those people. I should do this game on my channel, honestly. But yeah, it's honestly this game is so fucking fun. So you play a Star Lord, right? And which it was like you play a Star Lord and you control the other members. And at first when I heard that, I was like, oh, it's kind of boring. Like out of all the characters, I feel like Star Lord would be the least interesting to play as, which I think is true. But the way they do it and like the way the combat gets a little samey. It's really just shoot. You tell the Guardians to like do their moves and like, you know, Groot will maybe hold enemies in place, and so then you send Rocket to drop hella bombs on them. And since there's gonna be they're all grouped together, and he does a lot of splash damage, and then like while you're at the same time all just shooting them while they're all doing that, like that's fun. And like the way they like do that is I think really fun, and like you can send them to the other members to do like different environmental puzzles. Like Gamora could like climb, like use her sword and she'll jump high and like stab into the wall and climb shit. Or you know, Drax is strong, he gets to move like shit around and you know, create platforms and stuff. And Groot can create like vine bridges that you could walk across. And Rocket, you know, he's a tech guy, you send him into small spots and whatnot to I feel like in story wise this game's great. Like the set pieces I was saying in the Marvel's Avengers game, how that was so lacking. You visit a lot of different places. You go to nowhere. The main Guardian ship is the hub, and so like there's different shit to access on the ship as you progress through the story. You're going to like the Nova Corps. You're going to like Fing Fang Foom's in the fucking game. A giant with purple, fucking giant green dragon with purple pants. There's just a lot of different shit. Like you're interacting with Cosmo, the space dog. There's just a lot to enjoy in the game, and it's like really story driven and really linear. You can unlock different costumes and stuff, and it does something I really like in superhero games. When you unlock a costume, it shows like what comic it was featured in and gives a little description on it, which is really cool. It just has really cool quality of life, like things like that, that gives more lore to the universe. And it's honestly one of like a top Marvel game for sure. I really like it a lot, honestly. If you haven't checked that out by now, go check that out, brother. I'm kind of like jumping all around the place, and if I'm gonna do a part 2, I gotta be mindful where I stop. But on this list, we talked about a good and a bad one. So let's talk about Deadpool. So this came out in 2013. This is like a hack and slash God of War type game. I really like it. There's you get different weapons. You have like katanas to upgrade. You have like this big hammers to upgrade. You have these. You could upgrade your teleport and shit. I think it's just a lot of different types to upgrade. The story is pretty fun to play through. Like Wolverine's featured in it. The comedy is a Deadpool comedy, so if you're really not into that, I mean, it doesn't always hit for me either, but overall, it's pretty enjoyable. It's just a really fun game to play. It's like I said, it's a nice hack and slash. I think Dante was playing through it more recently that I saw. I haven't played this game in a while, but it's definitely a game that I would want to do on my channel. But it's honestly a really good game. I just don't remember a ton about it. But I remember playing it when I was younger, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. Let's go back up. Let's go talk about Marvel's Midnight Suns. So this is a turn-based game, and honestly, this is so. I'm not into turn-based games really at all. I think Pokemon is the only turn-based game that I enjoy, and I think it took me really a while to give that a chance as well. But with Baldur's Gate 3 and shit. This wasn't the reason. I always wanted to get into this game, but I just didn't want to drop $70 on a game that I might like or might not like. But when it went on sale, I grabbed it, and I really enjoy it. The story's fine, but it's cool seeing the characters and them interact and shit. I haven't beat it yet. But the turn-based. So with turn-based shit, if like the animations are like lazy and just like one swipe attack. Like, just like some lazy shit, then that's what really turns me off. But like if the animations are top tier, I'll fuck with it. But the animations and shit, like the moves, like that you go to send to you send your characters to do are look really great. And there's Blade, there's Ghost Rider, there's Spider-Man, there's Wolverine, there's Venom. Like there's a bunch of different characters to control and shit. And one thing I really don't like about the story though, is how they like make you play as this new created character. It's like, let me fucking play as like I don't know, like fucking, and he's just not super interesting, and the storyline dealing with them is not super interesting, but the shit around it and how the characters, other Marvel characters, are play a part in it is what is interesting, and that's what's kind of like killing my vibe with the game. Like I do not care about this new nigga and like what he has to deal with in this ancient evil and whatnot, and his having to be his mom, and like I don't care. So yeah, the game, but I'm really it was enjoyable from what I was playing. So if you don't like turn-based stuff, go check that out. Let's see. We got let's talk about let's find a DC one. I was talking about DC for quite a bit. Let's scroll a little bit. Ooh, here's Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Don't want to talk about that. I look, you want to save that, but it's about to come up on 20 minutes, but we really haven't been talking about anything to keep it a buck with you. I think I'm gonna go for 30. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this one, baby. Fuck. I like fucked my voice doing that. The Punisher. So this is a 2005 PS2 game, maybe Xbox game. I'm not sure, but I had it on PS2. Bro, this game is lit. This is like it's a over the shoulder third person. I would say like kind of like Max Payne type of shit. But it's just super violent. Like you're literally a Punisher, and you can like do these interrogation tactic type things, where like you gotta like, for instance, there's like a buzzsaw, and like you gotta intimidate the nigga. So you put his face close to the buzzsaw to make him crack and shit. And if you don't do it right, like he won't crack, and like you just end up killing him or whatever, and not getting the info. Or once he does crack, you could still kill him. And on the thing, it's just super fun. I just don't remember a whole lot story-wise, but oh man, this was one of a staple, a childhood staple for sure, and just going around and just dealing with that, man, and just dealing with that. I just remember you can have dual-wield pump shotguns, and you're just firing them the way he reloads them. He like grabs both of them and just says reloads them at the same time. It's just super not even goofy. It's just a gory ass visceral just Punisher simulator. And bro, if they need to like remake this or remaster this or something, bro, that would be, I'm telling you, that would sell so crazy. Why they haven't made a new Punisher game yet, I am not sure. Let's see. Let's talk about the Ultimate Spider-Man. Now this is another childhood staple right here. This is probably, I like all the older, this came out in 2005, out of the older games, because I have a PS2 and I was on the hunt for this game and I found it. This was probably the games that I replayed more recently than all of them, out of the older ones. But this is a childhood staple for sure. This game is amazing, and it's short, not super long, which when I beat it, I was like, whoa, that's it? So I guess that could be a complaint, but just, bro, the story of this game is fucking fun. Whenever I read I'm reading Ultimate Spider-Man right now, or through the Ultimate Universe, and like I hear his voice when I read through it. It's just so great. I love the story for this. Like Wolverine's in it. Like you get to play as Venom, and Spider-Man 2. Really, I think that's what I was saying, experience-wise. So you get, like, they really took inspiration from a lot of my favorite Spider-Man games, like Web of Shadows, like the symbiote outbreak and shit. And it's probably in the comics and whatnot, but like seeing it in Web of Shadows and how it went in Spider-Man 2 is very similar. Not super very similar, but it's the same shit. And then, like, playing as Venom and shit. And this game been on for a while, so I don't really care. But you play Venom in Spider-Man 2. You get to play as Venom in Ultimate Spider-Man. The first like mission that you do, you fucking go kill a kid. Like, so this kid just like chilling by himself in the alley. You go and suck his life force away, and that's wild. and you end up like fighting Wolverine in that shit. Like you're just wrecking a bar, and you like crash through and fight in this karate dojo. And then at the end of the game, you get like after you beat the game, you unlock Venom to like free roam through the city, which is fun. Like the army's just chasing you. It's really not much, but the army's just chasing you and shit. And that's what I was hoping they were gonna do with Spider-Man 2. Like at the end, you get to play as Venom, but it's fine. It's fun. It was fun playing with him through the story, but in that little section. But yeah, this Ultimate Spider-Man's great. There's good the costumes and shit. There's not a whole lot. It's just like you see the like you race like Johnny Storm in this story. It is just a lot of good shit in it, to be honest. Let's see. I want to talk about a stinker. I'm only seeing bangers, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, the Amazing Spider-Man. I guess we could just knock these out 1 and 2. The first Amazing Spider-Man game, like, so these are movie tie-ins to the Amazing Spider-Man movies. The first one I thought it was all right. Mechanically, it's fine, but I don't know. The story was cool, ish. It just had really good. I like the costumes in it, and it had some really, really great suit damage in it. Like your suit could be torn to fucking shreds, and not just like this added so much to the gameplay, in my opinion. The first game I remember just being all right. I mean, for the time, I feel like it was great. I literally remember getting this game. So this came out in 2012. I'm just trying to remember some story elements. It was some weird shit where they were going really like the hybrid route for Spider-Man's villains, like actual animal hybrids. Like the Scorpion was actually like fucking a scorpion humanoid thing, and the Rhino, same with the Rhino and shit. And that kind of like it spun off from like the Lizard's genetic mutation shit in the movie. But yeah, I mean, like I feel like expanded on the story, the ultimate story, well enough. Yeah, I'm trying to like think of some cons of the first game. It's not that great, regardless. Like the camera work is weird when you're swinging. I honestly that might be more in the second one, but the swinging's fine. Definitely not the best Spider-Man's web swinging ever. The combat is fine. I think this also. Oh, I think this is what really set the stand. Hold on. No, I think maybe Shattered Dimension did that. I was gonna say set the standard for stealth Spider-Man gameplay, because how the stealth works in Ultimate or Amazing Spider-Man is more or less how it works in like the newer Spider-Man games. You're just perched on the beams and like you gotta wait for you're just like picking them off from up top. I mean that's the Arkham shit too, but I remember. Oh yeah. So I would say because Shattered Dimension is on here because you do some shit like that in Shattered Dimension when you play as Noir. Let me see. When did Shattered Dimensions come out? Yeah, it came out in 2010. So maybe Shattered Dimensions was the for the Spider-Man games at least, like, you know, set that standard. But what fucking game was I talking about? Spider-Man. Oh yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man games. Yeah, so the first one's fine for the most part. I know like how you would unlock suits, you would have to find these spider symbols around the city. You had to go take pictures of them. I don't know why. Like I distinctly remember that, but they had like the big time suit and shit. That was fun. That's like Miles Morales variant costume. That was cool. There's some decent ones. But the Amazing Spider-Man 2, brother, that was some hot pack of ass right there. The web swing is terrible. I think I talked about it before or during my either first impressions or Spider-Man review. They have the crime system, right? And I wish something like this was implemented in Spider-Man 2, but I wish it was. But if you didn't do crimes in the city and like you had this bar, and if it like went below a certain point, Oscorp would send these like Green Goblin flying glider guys after you, and you have to fight them. But it was just like you would get ass like only be able to miss like 1 or 2 crimes before like they sent people after you. So it was like the system was like pretty fucking imbalanced. So it was probably not like really balanced. But I wish something like that did play a part in Spider-Man 2. Like maybe like I said, like you miss a significant amount of crimes, and then like maybe the city starts not fucking with you. Like and because you can go on like the ground like level, street level, and you can like be saying what up to like the civilians and shit. Like if you press the attack button, you'll just like start waving and doing stuff with them. Like maybe that like turns negative, like get the fuck out of your Spider-Man or some shit. Or if they actually start sending like how there's a force that comes and fucks with you, something like that. I don't know. I feel like there's just needs to be a consequence for missing crimes, like because you can go through all those Spider-Man games without doing a single crime and you won't miss anything or nothing will change. And I feel like that is kind of a big point in Spider-Man is stopping crimes, not like story wise in the games, but like in like lore wise, like Spider-Man's not fucking stopping crime. Like what is he doing? But yeah, and then also with Amazing Spider-Man 2, just the story was so nonsense. They like shoehorned in Carnage, and then they had Green Goblin and shit. And I think Carnage, like his design and shit was pretty good. Off the top of my memory, I could be wrong. I haven't played this game in fucking years. But yeah. I think the last time I played it was getting rid. I was just fiending when Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man PS4 game got announced. I was fiending for some Spider-Man shit, and that was like the latest one at the time, and it was just so ass. Let's see. So I'm at 68, and so that's why I'm gonna stop at 68. But I haven't talked about all of the games like 1 through 260. I just been skipping around a little bit, but I am gonna probably put a pin in this. We've been talking about for 30 minutes. I'm gonna talk about one more. I'm gonna talk about where's it at? Where's it at, brother? Let me put that in my Google Docs though. So when we do come back to this topic, because I do want to come back to this. I feel like this was interesting, and there's a lot more to talk about for sure. Let me just create this doc real quick. All right, I just created that doc because yeah, I mean, I'll probably have to be mindful of which ones I already talked about, but I feel like I could do that pretty well without having to go back and listen to the whole episode. So if we do a part 2, I hope, or when we do a part 2, I hope I don't repeat. And if I do, I apologize. But I want to talk about this last one though. Ultimate Alliance. Where's it at? I just want to see the cover and shit. Where you at? Where'd you go, buddy? I just seen you. Oh, here we are. Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. Now I think I just been saying this a lot though, but another childhood banger, bro. Brother, when this game came out, it came out in 2006. Maybe I didn't play it right when it came out. I don't know what age I played this at, but I don't know, man. I love again, talking about visiting different locations in the Marvel universe and how Marvel's The Avengers has failed to do that. You visit just so many different places in this. You go to fucking Atlantis. You go fight Galactus somewhere. I don't know if you exactly fight him in space. You fight him somewhere. You fight fucking Fing Fang Foom. You fight fucking like Bullseye and fucking you go to like this arcade realm. You're going to Latveria. You're just going to these multitude of places, and the game gets a little tedious, like grinding. There's a lot of just going from point A to point B, just whooping ass and just very very monotonous gameplay. But I feel like just overall, me and my brother, we were playing through this. We stopped a while ago, but I need to hit him and we should pick that back up. But we were going through it. It was just so fun. Just because you got have 4 members, and like we picked 2. I picked 2, he picked 2, and obviously you could but like I would pick mine 2 members that I picked Wolverine because he could fucking heal, which is like kind of OP, and then I picked who was my second? But who was my second? Maybe like Blade or something, Ghost Rider. Maybe Spider-Man. I don't know. I know for sure it was Spider-Man at one point, but then I was like, fuck, I always pick Spider-Man and shit, so let me pick a different character. So yeah. And then he had I forgot who he had, but yeah, it's just like, and then there's little shit in the game where did I mention the cutscene? The cutscenes are great. Like that first opening cinematic with Spider-Man, Wolverine, Thor, Cap and shit against like Doctor Doom. Or like they're infiltrating his Latveria. That shit is so gas, brother. And then I think at one point, Doctor Doom gets like the Odin Force or some shit. He gets hella OP. Um, what was I saying though? Oh yeah, there's like little shit like for instance, Johnny Storm, like there would be like fire on the map or whatever, like little and like it's like not nothing like serious, but you can if you stand in, you'll get injured. But like Johnny Storm, he'll be able to stand in the fire or some shit. And I don't know about this point, but I think Iceman might get like more damage from fire. But I know for sure Johnny's like immune. He could just walk through it, and it's not a big deal. But that's just cool. There's like little shit like that, and it's just so fun. It's just playing all the different characters and unlocking their abilities and different costumes and whatnot. Um, I don't know. The game's just so great. And can I talk about number two? I might as well. Actually, nah. I'm gonna say that for part two. And I enjoyed part two for the most part. But yeah, overall, I think Marvel Ultimate Alliance is definitely one of the top games. It's definitely. I know. I just said it. I said it gets a little tedious, but overall, bro, it's just it's a great game. It was a great like just couch co-op game to just throw on, and it was good solo play too. You didn't have to have team members. You could just go solo. But I mean, like, why would you not want to play with other characters? I don't know. Maybe if they get in the way or some shit. Um, but just encountering all those different villains and whatnot. But yeah, that was. Do you have anything to say about that game? Oh, they did release number three. So number two and shit came on like on PlayStation 2 and like Xbox. And then number two came out on like PlayStation 3 and 360 and shit. And then number three, which when they first, and I was like, oh fuck, another Ultimate Alliance game. Fuck yeah, dude. They only released it on a fucking Switch. So that was like a huge bummer. And I heard it was like pretty decent. I didn't really like the art style that they went with. They went with more like a cartoony vibe, which I mean it wasn't like terrible, but like the ultimate, I just really like the aesthetic of the original Ultimate Alliance games. But it was only on Switch, and I heard it was pretty decent. Like it has like Miles Morales in it, Kamala Khan, like newer gen heroes. I think maybe Nova. Not necessarily like they're new, but like they're not. They especially Kid Nova, not Kid Nova, but like Sam version of Nova is definitely like been pushed to the forefront more recently. Not like I'm saying like the last like 5-7 years type shit. And same with like Kamala Khan and Miles Morales and shit. So it's been cool to play as those newer heroes and whatnot. I mean, I'm gonna get a Switch eventually, so that's definitely gonna be something I check out. Maybe I'll put that on the channel, man. But yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about. Like there's some ones that are in that first like 68 that I didn't even touch on. I didn't touch on like the first Spider-Man game. I didn't get into Miles Morales. I didn't get into Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins, Gotham Knights, Injustice 2, Spider-Man 2, like from 2004, Injustice 1, Spider-Man 3, OG 2002 Spider-Man, 90s game Spider-Man, Batman Telltale, fucking Web of Shadows, didn't get into that. Lego Marvel Superheroes 1 and 2, Shattered Dimensions, Infamous Second Son, which I would consider that a superhero game. There's a lot of non-superhero shit in this, but let's see what else. X-Men Origins Wolverine, didn't get into that. Spider-Man Edge of Time, The Incredible Hulk. Actually, no, that's the movie Titan. I didn't play that. Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes. Number 3, which is not as good, but best and worst. The Iron Man games, the Ben 10 Ultimate Alien games, Ultimate did I say? Hulk Ultimate Destruction, the Superman OG games like Battle for Apocalypse or whatever it's called, the Captain America game, Infamous, let's see, like bro, there's some bangers. Spider-Man Friend or Foe, y'all don't know nothing about that one. Come on. Ultimate Alliance 2, there's Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is in there. I don't know why, but cool. Ultimate X-Men Legends, the Fantastic Four game, which is not that great. DC Universe Online, which I dabbled and dabbled in. Let's see. There's just some, and I was scrolling the fucking TMNT games. Bro, there's just some bangers in here, brother, that I didn't even touch on. Let me see. It gets a little bit more sparse as you scroll. But I'm at 151 right. The TMNT the move the tie-in game that came out like on the Wii and shit. I played on the Wii. It's like on Xbox 360 and whatnot. Of that animated movie, that tie-in game. That game was a banger. Say what you will about the movie. There's just a lot, brother. A lot that I didn't even get into. Let me find like one more to shout out that we'll probably be getting into next time we do this, which I don't know when will be. Whoa, Spawn has a game? That's cool. Didn't know that. Maybe I was like going through this list, I'll pick out some shit to revisit or visit for the first time, not revisit. So how am I gonna revisit something I didn't play? Yeah, I'm just trying to find another one. Yeah, there's some shit though. There's some shit for sure, but let's just we're gonna move on from that. I've been just yapping about that for a minute. Sorry, I was texting, but brother. On to the weekly watch list, which is honestly not that long. I just been really focused on editing and shit this week. Making a new Future Trunks video, and there's a part of that video where I'm making an AMV. I think AMVs are super cool. I don't know, are they dated? I don't know, but I just like seeing niggas box to rap music, to be honest, like in rap beats and shit. So I'm making an AMV for it, and I'm trying to make it the best to my abilities, and it's a little tricky. So I'm making an AMV. I've just been focused on that. So I really haven't watched anything besides Godzilla or Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which I briefly mentioned earlier for I forgot what reason. Well, I think someone's producer attached is working on something. What was I was saying? Sorry. The only thing I was watching was Monarch Legacy. I'm really liking that show. What is funny about that? I'll get into it when it all wraps up. Actually, how many episodes is in that, so I can get an idea when I'm gonna be reviewing that show. I think I looked up before. I think there's 10. Okay, so it's 10 episodes, and I think they dropped 6 so far. So we got a couple, at least like a month left on that till that wraps up. But I'm really liking that show. But real quick though, episode 4 was so fucking well edited and shit, and like the transitions and stuff, like scene to scene, there were some really cool transitions. Was great. And then episode 5 turned in like, it was just hella like slapstick. It was like felt like MCU humor type shit, and it was just a crazy whiplash of, and it was not even say that was bad. It was just like, what the fuck? It was just really weird, just that tonal shift. But yeah, I'm really liking that show a lot, to be honest. It really shows like the real world side of, the aftermath of the monsters, and the MonsterVerse movies kind of showed that it's the human element wasn't ever really that compelling. So it's just like whatever, but this really, like, I feel like gets into the nitty gritty, and like there's some really good emotional moments that are really well acted and were really kind of uncomfortable to sit through. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, and it could have been just because I was geeked. Yes, I do participate in the devil's lettuce, but so I could have made a part into it, so I was just feeling that a lot more. But I don't know, it was just, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's just some certain shit that was like, what the fudge? Like they were getting into it. So yeah, there's not much on the weekly watch list. Fudge. What? There was something that came out. Ooh, fudge. There was something that came out that I wanted to check out. I don't know. Honestly, I really can't even remember. Keep it a buck. So whatever. Maybe it'll come back to me. Hold on. There's a trick. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V X Y M Z. It didn't come back. There's a trick where if you say your ABCs, it'll come back, but it didn't. So I guess moving on to the last section, Pondering My Orb. I just like to have this section and to reflect on my week and to gear up for, for the week going forward, and me reflecting on, on my stuff. Maybe that helps you, inspires you to, do the same, reflect on what you gotta improve and whatnot. But yeah, so last week I was talking about I want to reach out to family more and shit. And I'm very glad I said that last week. And I'm honestly, it makes me glad that I do this section, and makes me glad I have this podcast in general because last week I was like said that, and then something came up where I wasn't gonna do that and go do what I needed to do, but then I remembered. I was like, damn, I said it on the podcast, so I gotta stick to my word and do the shit because it really is a pet peeve for me when people don't practice what they preach. You don't have to be perfect in everything you like say, like up. And there's some shit you should stand on 100% of the time, but we're human. Like we make mistakes sometimes. Like we fuck up, and so you're not always gonna be able to, in a sense, practice what you preach in every single situation. But for the most part, you should try. And I just was like saying that held me accountable, and I really liked that, to be honest. And it worked out for the best. I liked what I was on my shit, and it felt good. But this week, I wanted a focus for me to be a bias towards action. If you don't know what that means, basically, like let's say I'm like sitting watching TV or some shit, and like I gotta fold laundry. Or I think, oh damn, I gotta fold laundry. Having a bias towards action would be like maybe pausing that show or switching to a multitask and fold your laundry in that moment and watching the show or whatever, and not just like, oh, I thought about folding it, I'll just fold it later. No, just go do it right now. Go knock that out, knock it, and just having that mindset towards a lot of things. Like for instance, editing. Like if I'm like just chilling, just got off work or whatever, and like I'm trying to decompress, and you need to take your time to yourself, but like I'm just like scrolling through Twitter on some shit that doesn't like matter type shit, and like damn, I gotta edit right then and there. I'm gonna get up and go edit instead of just like dilly dallying, maybe fucking start in an hour or so. No, just get up and right there and just doing it. And like when you do have a bias towards action, one, you don't like put it off and you get it done right there, and maybe ends up like, damn, I'm a big procrastinator, which I've been trying to fix since like you're putting off something because it's going to take hella long, and then you just do it and it doesn't end up taking as long as you think it's going to take. And so having a bias towards action, just doing that, and it ends up not taking as long as you thought, and you don't put it off and maybe forget it later. You just knock it out right there. For instance, like if relating to the family thing, like if I like I have a like, damn, I should call my aunt that lives like across the country. Having a bias towards action and doing that right there when I thought, whether she answers or not, it could possibly, I could forget about it later, and I end up don't doing it at all. It's just just doing it right there. And so, it's just having a bias towards action. But the other part of sorry if I've been sniffing this whole fucking episode. Usually I do good and I'm able to cut it out. But I noticed I've been sniffing a lot as I've been talking. So I apologize for that. That's probably very annoying to hear. But another side of Pondering My Orb, though, is just in how I know the basis of this has just been, talking about, what was I saying? Yeah, the basis is, trying to improve of what you're lacking on. But I wanted to make a point of not being so hard on yourself. And it's okay to like not accomplish, if you do set a goal for yourself, it's okay to like not, it's okay to come up short and not being as hard on yourself over it and not beating yourself over it, because not everything like goes according to plan and whatnot, and definitely you need to hold yourself accountable, but it's just give yourself some grace. That's what was told to me. Just yeah, it's in the sentence. Give yourself some grace. Like, I know you probably, I know I do, so I assume others as well, but you hold yourself to this standard, and sometimes you just don't meet that standard, and that's all right, as long as you recognize that and, take the steps to go forward and be better. Like, it's okay to fuck up sometimes. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to fall. As long as you dust yourself and get back up, you got this, Just keep going and just don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah, that's pretty much it, though. But, follow me on my socials at DS2Smooth, DS numerical 2, number 2, SMOOVE, DS2Smooth. That's on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. That's my main YouTube channel name. Go check that out. I'm working on a future Trunks video over there. Got some other stuff cooking up as well. So writing a couple scripts. And then go check out my gaming channel not strictly gaming, but mostly gaming at uh DS2 Smooth Elongated. DS2 Smooth Elongated. Right now, I posted my Spider-Man playthrough on there. So there's a playlist of that you could go check out. And then right now, I'm currently playing Cyberpunk 2077, and I haven't beat that game. And I haven't played the DLC Phantom Liberty, so I'm really excited about that with all the updates and whatnot. So yeah, I'm really just excited about all that shit and just playing through that game, and I just be feeling, bro. But it's like, damn, gotta prioritize. And no one's really watching those videos right now, which is fine. It's kind of like I have them as like a archive. Like, I know once I get like more popular, that stuff is gonna be there, and it's not like it's like film like bad, or it's not film, but like it's not like it's bad quality or anything. So it's not like something that's like it feels dated or something, like I have a shitty mic or anything. Which I want to get a webcam at one point, like very soon. So I feel like that would definitely add to it as well, make it more engaging. But yeah, like I was saying though, it's like still good quality. The commentaries, in my opinion, is still like fun and shit. And so it's like when people find out about me, that stuff will be there. And so I just be wanting to play the game, and just myself, just as for entertainment and shit. But gotta prioritize. I gotta like work on my video on my main channel, and like that is like steadily growing as I post videos. And so I just gotta prioritize that and just not get too caught up in numbers on my second channel. Again, I'm not like really stressed about them, but no one's really checking those out, so that's not should be a priority of mine to focus on. Like if I get home, like I shouldn't be pressed to record a new episode for that. I should probably work on some editing for my main channel anyways. But yeah, so go check out my second channel. And then I was about to shout out my podcast. Hey, it's on Spotify, so I don't know, dropping a rating or something will help out. I'm not sure how that works, but I when I listen to the Weekly Planet, they always talk about dropping a rating. So, go rate me on Spotify. It's on YouTube and shit. Drop a like, subscribe on YouTube. I'm working on getting it on. I got to look into it actually, because it was submitted for Apple Podcasts, but I don't know. I should also look into it, getting on Google Podcasts too, but it's on Spotify and YouTube for now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. I'll catch you guys in the next. Oh yeah, so next week will probably be. We'll decide. It's for sure gonna be Aquaman, but maybe Rebel Moon, or I might just save that to maybe for next week's episode, or just talk about it in my weekly watch list. I don't know yet, but yeah, that's that on that. And so that's the end of the episode. I'll catch you guys next week. See ya. Oh wait, fuck, it's not the end. Don't leave yet. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't wait. Don't leave. Please. Please. Let's just go, I don't know, just see if there's any other news. What I miss? Any other news? Not really seeing anything. Oh, I heard God of War Valhalla is a really good expansion, and is more than a lot of people thought. So I really want to check that out. Maybe I'll do that solo and just experiencing that, because I want to. That's like a New Game Plus thing, I think. Or I want to go through New Game Plus, and I have to finish up a couple side quests. Yeah, so is there anything else? I'm not really seeing anything. Hold on, what was this? Oh, I guess this is new. So this is from the Direct. I'm not probably really gonna get into the article, but Ryan Coogler's next is reportedly in talks to be involved with Eyes of Wakanda, the animated show I was talking about earlier. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know in what capacity, but that's cool, brother. I think there's really any other news. I'm tired of yapping. So that's it for this episode. I'll catch you guys next week. See ya. Onomatopoeia.